Hope you're all having a good week. We had some challenges there in Milwaukee. We have a duplex there, and with all that rain, we got our basement got flooded. So we're figuring out what we're going to do there. Water heaters and furnaces were down in the basement, and I guess they got almost a couple of feet down there of water. I would have thought that the property manager would have made that a priority. It was kind of odd getting an email from them because the tenants had mentioned that they didn't have hot water and the air conditioning wasn't working. And they checked in with me to see if I wanted them to send technicians out. But I think that should have been an obvious decision. What do you guys think?
I think you got them scared. They're going to ask for permission.
Well, yeah, I would expect permission. I would expect them to ask for permission on, I don't know, things like they want to pressure wash the house or we need to replace the gutters, but not something that's crucial for the tenants' everyday well-being. I think I would have been okay with them saying, hey, your tenants need hot water and air conditioning. We're sending technicians out. Just wanted to let you know.
So what came out of that, Frank?
I haven't heard back. I asked them to please send technicians right away. That was yesterday morning. And I haven't gotten any notification back yet. I'll probably check with them in the morning to see what they found. They may be writing up some kind of a quote for new water heaters and stuff. So, which is fine, but I just want to get it done as quickly as possible. When that all happened, I was asking them if, because apparently the interior of the homes are fine. The interior or the home sits up probably 12 to 16 inches off the ground, and the basement um, obviously is much lower than that. So all the water went in the basement, but um, I checked in with them to find out if we needed to do anything for the tenants, put them in a hotel overnight or anything like that. And he said no. He said that as long as they had water and power and or excuse me, water and power, that he didn't think that would be necessary. I told him I just want to make sure that they know that we want to take care of them if they need anything. We did last year. We did have to put one of our tenants in a hotel from our triplex because there was some plumbing issues and one of the drain lines was leaking into the downstairs apartment ceiling, and so it got a little bit funky in there. So we put them in a hotel. I think they were in there for 2 or 3 nights. The guys did the repair, got everything cleaned up. Um, we ended up having to pay for half of their sofa because they couldn't get it cleaned properly. So
Faulty sump pump or need to install a sump pump?
on the flooding basement, no, I don't think a sump pump would have kept up with the water that they got there. Um, Brett actually texted me that morning to let me know they were having issues. I didn't even know they were having severe weather, but it seemed like it was basically right over Milwaukee. I think a lot of other places didn't see that. They had to, I guess they shut down the state fair that was there this year. And um, I think Cody's not here yet, but I think he said his brother or his brother-in-law, they were somewhere and they got valet parking and they parked their car in the basement of wherever they were at, and their car was a total loss. There was cars floating all over the place during that time.
Yeah, I haven't seen the reports of what the total water we got. I know some places got like 14 inches. Um, so yeah, it was pretty nasty. I got into work the next morning, and which kind of sucked. I couldn't even go to my own properties and check them out.
Mhm.
But there was cars parked all over the main roads, just sitting in the like underpasses and stuff like that, because they got stalled. So the people literally just went home, and then the city usually would tow the cars, but they weren't towing because their lot was underwater. So there was cars just all over the place. It was interesting. So there's houses had walls caved in, houses caved in on top of each other. Um, yeah, it's been interesting. So
Well,
I think
well,
I had to fix four furnaces. I had to change out the circuit boards and replace or and pull the blowers out and empty the water out. That was kind of funny. That was my first time pulling the blower out, and I was just laughing all the water coming out of it. But everything started back up. But I lost four water heaters, so I put those in. So, but it's if you go to the store now, like you can't even if you go to Menards or Home Depot, you're lucky if you find a water heater. They're pretty much the whole shelves are empty, and there's no fans or dehumidifiers anywhere. So,
yeah, I imagine that's
Gas
pretty
or
tough.
electric water heaters?
what's that?
Gas or electric water heaters?
Most of them are gas. Yeah, most of the ones I've seen in properties are gas. I mean, there is electric out there, but
How was work for you, Brett? Any emergencies or things like that?
so I came in the morning after the big rain. The guys coming off shift didn't sleep at all that night. They ran all night. We were super busy all day. We ran all day. We only actually stopped like it was interesting. We stopped right at lunchtime, right at dinner time, and we pretty much ran all day until like 2 in the morning. And then I think everyone finally passed out, and so like it was quiet the rest of the night. So that was nice. But we have like it's interesting. Some of the stuff we do at the fire department, but we have like crews put together that go around right now in problem areas and like assessing houses and just, reporting the damage. Just I don't know who it's all getting really reported to, if it's for FEMA or what, but yeah, like I said, the one house across the street from one of mine had like a snow fence around it. So me and the neighbor walked over there to look at it, and literally the whole side of the house is like caved in the basement. So it actually like looks like an excavator excavated the wall, but literally all that dirt is just inside the house. So, but so we got pretty lucky.
Yeah, I guess it could have been much, much worse. Was there like I guess one area that got it all? Because it doesn't seem
No,
like the whole city.
no, I would say the whole city did. I would say anywhere between like probably 30 minutes around like driving wise outside of like Milwaukee area got hit
Hmm.
hard. So there's other areas like there's still roads shut down. There's like my town, the most likely the dam's gonna fail. They have like the military corps of engineers, army corps of engineers going out there to try to brace it to keep it from caving, like falling in, but it's all like eroded. um like people in my neighborhood were finding fish in their neighborhood because of there's a pond down the road,
Hmm.
and just with all the water they got out and stuff like that. So um, yeah, I was when it started, I was out on the lake fishing, and we knew it was gonna rain later, but we didn't know it was gonna rain like right away. And I'm casting. One of the kids just caught a fish, and all of a sudden my son looks up and goes, "What is that?" And you could just see like this wall of rain coming, and it would just didn't stop.
Hmm.
It was a lot of rain. So
Gosh, we've
I
been
know. one of the big companies out here that does like restoration and stuff like that. I know a guy there, and um, I've been helping out at a commercial space, and so we got water in there, so we had to like get big dehumidifiers and stuff like that. And I talked to him. He's like, yeah, our call log is like over 300, and it keeps on just growing. So
Yeah, that's pretty tough. We've been through earthquakes and stuff, but as far as flooding goes, nothing like that.
yeah, the last time we had something like this was 2008, and I think they're still saying 2008 was worse
Really?
than this one. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know if everything's is peaked yet. If it's still going up. Um, my parents' lake, it looks like that's still rising, but there's a lot of water that flows into it and stuff like that. So it's always interesting. We'll see where it peaks, but right now it's still lower than that one. So, but what the city does is they hold back all the all the water through like the deep tunnel system. So it's like basically sewer, and they hold all that back, and then they back it up into all the houses, and then at a certain point they go, shoot, we gotta let this go, and they let it all out in Lake Michigan, and then it finally goes down. So
What does the forecast look like for you guys? Are you expecting more?
I don't think so. It's been, I mean, we've had a little bit. We thought we were gonna get like 3 days of rain, and I think the other 2 days really missed us. Um, so I think we got pretty lucky. I mean, the ground's still saturated, but I mean, we can mow our lawns again and stuff like that. So, but I mean, there's area that does have sitting water that's normally not sitting water. So people are having to pump it out into the road, get it out of the way and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it really makes you think about like really watching what you buy, or even like your primary house, like making sure you buy something that's maybe more on a hill or something like that, or my sump pump at my house, and I live like 30 minutes from the city, it barely kicks on. So that's nice to know. But like some people have, like one guy was telling me at work, he's got three sump pumps in the same crock. It's a primary one, a secondary one, and then a backup one with batteries in case it does fail. And he still got water in his house.
Mhm.
And he says if his power goes out, he knows he's only got like 10 minutes before he's got to get that generator hooked up and going, or else he'll have water. So
Yeah, that's a hard one to get away from.
yeah.
How are
You
the
didn't.
rest of you? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say you didn't get much water in here, but just some, but not a lot.
Well, when the girl reported it, she says it was up to the second step coming out of the
Okay.
basement.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you too. So on the gas water heaters, it doesn't look like these were basically on the floor. And I know you can get, the metal stands or whatever for them, but I don't know that there's enough height to be able to put them up on a stand in the basement. Or if
So yeah, what I do with mine is I always put mine on top of like a landscaping block. So you get like an extra inch and a half or 2 inches off the ground. And they're just like a 16 by 16 concrete block.
Mhm.
Um, but I replaced some of my property yesterday, and the problem is mine are non-efficient, so they go through the chimney, and I literally didn't have enough room to put the blocks under it. Because actually, I was like, well, shoot, this time I'm gonna put like two blocks under it, or whatever. Like have it. I was actually gonna put like a 4 inch block and then like a 2 inch block. So I was like, I'm gonna have it 6 inches off the ground, and I couldn't even put it up that high. So I literally, I mean, unless I want to put a new hole in my chimney, and fill that one back up, which wouldn't be terrible, but I'm just trying to get everything up and running right now. So
Yeah, I was thinking like when Charles asked about gas or electric, I was thinking maybe even if it's possible, or I know it would cost a bit to run 220 circuits for water heaters, but with the electric ones, you can get short 50 gallons and then those can be put way up off the ground, because I think I would have had to be probably 16 or 20 inches off the ground not to mess that up. And then also with it being electric, you don't have that burner down there either, so it might have made it through.
Yeah. So, and that's an interesting point because my buddy's got like a hair salon, and he's got them hung from the ceiling. And I was like, well, okay, but if you have gas, you have to have your that relief valve. You have to have that so close to the ground and stuff like that. So I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I wonder how that would work or whatever. But definitely, I think if the more I can raise them up in the future, because a lot of them had to go and just relight them, and they were fine. Just had to go relight them and no big deal. But for my like two of my properties are right next to each other, and they had 2 feet of water in them. So
Yeah,
so
a little worse.
yeah, a little worse, but luckily none of my basements are finished. They're all unfinished. So I mean, it helps with that. So
Yeah, at
just
least
get it. Yeah.
that was a blessing.
Yep.
Yeah. Hi, Jasek. You got a question?
Yeah, so I got a question to you guys because I have at my properties when I all my water heaters go, I upgrade them to the tankless. Those you can hang it up all the high, the small boxes.
Hmm.
So unless your full basements get flooded, you don't have an issue with it. But I don't know what the cost for you guys is.
Yeah. What does it cost for you?
So I only pay for the material, so wholesale. But
Oh,
it's
and you,
only like $300 more than the tank ones in my area.
okay.
The
Yeah.
plumbers charge more for installation, but mine is, you know what I mean? I
Right. And what are you paying for your water heaters?
uh I think they're like 700.
They've come down a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so but I'm like under $1,000 I can get a tankless
Yeah. And
install.
then, yeah, the labor, well, here the labor probably is about to convert probably 1,500.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's that expensive. I get it. If you get licensed plumber and all that stuff, they're gonna charge you
Yeah.
because they say it's high end stuff and whatever not. But
Yeah. And that's pretty cool because now I think they even make electric ones that are
hmm
efficient. They didn't used to be efficient when they first came out, but now I think they keep up well with the demand, and there's different sizes just like there are for the gas ones, depending on how many plumbing fixtures and things like that you have inside. So that's a great tip too. It's been a long time since I've installed one of those. Flavia was asking what brand you use. Do you recall?
so I think it used to be Rain, whatever, started with the R letter, but I don't know the latest ones because I just upgraded the rental that I rented last month, I think, or the month before that. I just updated, so I don't even know what the brand was on that one.
Okay.
I just
Yeah, I
say
know.
whatever the supply house recommends it.
Uh-huh.
Because you
Yeah.
know what I mean, you want to have it for servicing and for the parts. So whatever's in your area, whatever they carry, will be probably the most preferable ones. It's like with anything else, right? AC said every company has their favorite one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ream
So no
is the
no
one that
specific.
Home Depot usually carries, I think. Takagi used to be a really good brand that we used, but they were kind of higher end.
Yeah, I think on that one property I used back in the day I used to have a jacuzzi one, but that wasn't like a one of the beginning ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there weren't too many companies back then that were making them, huh? Now I think Ream is a decent quality. I forget, we were talking to Jeffrey out in Florida. He was thinking of going to, well, he had done some tankless, but they have like hard water and stuff like that. So he was wondering how well they were going to do. He was considering putting in water filtration systems and all these things to try to make them last longer. But we were just telling him at the end of the day, you'll spend more on water filtration and those kinds of systems trying to get them set up, and then when it probably just makes sense to replace them if they last 6 years. You're doing one every 6 years. And if they're $1,000 or less, I think that's probably okay. They may last longer.
Yeah, but you can do annual system flush of them, like the cleaning,
Hmm.
to make them last longer.
Yeah.
And replace the heating elements. The heating elements are only like 35, 40 bucks. They'll
All
have
right.
two elements in there, yeah. So it's a good time to flush them out every year and a half or 2 years or annually.
Uh-huh.
And we've had electric last well over a decade.
Yeah, I haven't had such good luck with ours here. I think mine maybe between 4 and 5 years, and it's an electric ream. And I think before it was probably our water that caused the biggest issues because we had a lot of iron in the water at the time, and that was it was hard to keep them cleaned out. It was just so much rust and sediment in there. But since then we've upgraded our well, and the way they set it up now, a lot of the iron settles in the large tank before and the output is higher off the floor than, so it's not picking up all that gunk. And then we'll probably have that cleaned out this year. They said maybe every 2 years to check it out and see how much sediment's down there, and then if need be, flush it and refill it. So what else is going on? Who's on the iPhone?
I'm a new guy.
New guy? Hi.
My name's Tom. My wife Tammy has got her grandbaby, so
Oh, congratulations.
thank
A
you.
new grandbaby?
2 months old.
All right. You said Tom and Tammy?
Yeah. Last name Robinson. We live in Missouri.
Okay. Great to have you. We're pretty informal, so if you have any questions or anything like that, or anything you want to chat about, feel free just to jump in. What part of Missouri? We have 3 properties in St. Louis. My wife and I are here in California.
Okay. So we live in a little community called Festus, Festus. It's not just a guy from Gunsmoke anymore.
Uh-huh.
And that is south of St. Louis. So it's just about from, let's say, the Arch, 40 minutes south, to give you an idea.
Yeah. Great to have you. Not to put you on the spot, but do you have rentals, and where are they if you do?
We have 2, and both of them are in our community, and both of them are cash flowing very nicely. And then we own my mother-in-law's house and my mother's house. They're both still alive, but they're anyway. We own those properties. My mother's house will be outright, unfortunately, upon her death, and then we'll have to probably buy out the other folks in the family for my mother-in-law's house. I'm just kind of in a quandary myself right now, just from the perspective of my company decided that they wanted to lay me off, or not lay me off, fire me. So I'm 63 and a half, and I don't know if I want to go back to work. I've got these properties, I can pay them off pretty easily. So I'm just kind of taking all ears and getting advice and listening to things of that nature. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay, that's great. And so you're fairly new to school as well?
We just joined. I'll be honest with you. We were with, and still, I guess, are members of Lifestyles Unlimited. And then we just joined school within the last week.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
So,
Oh, whoops. Sorry, I'm not on mute.
so it's all good. But so anyway, we're new. We're learning.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm right there with you. I'm 61. We just started investing again, my wife and I, in 2021. So we're hoping things pick up enough to help us with to be able to retire, and maybe the rentals will supplement a couple of other small things we have, and then including Social Security as long as it's around. So yeah,
I hear you.
hopefully,
So
hopefully
you own 3 properties in St. Louis. Just out of curiosity, obviously California's insane price wise. What area in St. Louis, and why did you choose St. Louis, being so far out from California? I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah, we started with turnkeys, and we ended up buying a turnkey up in St. Joseph, Missouri. We
Okay.
have that I was just talking about, our duplex in Milwaukee, and then we have 5 single families, 3 in St. Louis, 1 in Indiana, 1 in Illinois, and I think that's it. But we had purchased some turnkeys, so we were kind of spread out a little bit. We landed in St. Louis because of a property manager that we were looking forward to working with there.
Okay.
He's with RPM Endeavor, and the first property manager that we ended up working with on the triplex was groomed by this guy in St. Louis. So we just had a good feeling, I think, and he's been really good. He's been one of our better ones. And also the agent that we were working with was part of she was on Bigger Pockets agents list. I guess there was another level above pro, but business people were usually on that level. She was there, and then she was also on another group that we belonged to. So we had a little bit of confidence that she might be good. I think now, knowing what we know now, we might have upgraded the neighborhoods a little bit. And I'm happy to share you guys can check out the addresses and stuff. We do that once in a while too. But we had challenges getting them rented last year. They're finally all full. And yeah, I guess the cost to get in here in California, we were looking for quite a while. And I've worked with a lot of real estate agents and things like that. Nobody could find anything that really penciled for us. So we took our first 40,000 and went to St. Joseph.
Just to show you I'm not a bot.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. Yeah. So any questions?
Okay.
Well,
Well, we're always learning. I mean, that's the name of the game.
yeah.
What
And
line of work were you in?
we always wish we started sooner too.
Don't we all?
What line of work were you in?
I think that's for you, Tom.
What's that now?
What line of work were you in?
You want me to give you my ugly past, or do you want me to just tell you what I was in recently?
Oh, just recent, whatever.
So
Whatever.
I was in the pharmaceutical side of the world. I was selling tests for cancer. Probably the most significant one was a test called Oncotype for breast cancer. Determines whether women need chemotherapy or just hormonal therapy. It's a wonderful test, great data, and they decided that they wanted to kind of push me out. So we shall see where this goes.
Have you, since that's happening, have you looked into any other ways to make money from home if your rentals can carry you a bit?
Oh yeah, the rentals can carry me. We've saved, we've done our due diligence. So I'm just not 100% sure what I want to go back to. I don't know if I want to just, put an orange apron on or a blue apron and say plumbing's an aisle 17, for some insurance. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of rather enjoying, except that I'm bored out of my mind, the fact that I don't have to be on conference calls with people. I mean, I don't mind being on conference calls like this, but some of the conference calls that you go through in a business world, as you know, it's like beating your head against the wall sometimes. So we're in the process of thinking things through, and my wife wants me to get a real estate license, if nothing else, just to have access to the MLS and get some of the insider scoop on things. We've got quite a few connections here in the area, so that might be what I do. I'm just kind of laying low for just a little bit, just kind of enjoying the grandbaby and enjoying the time off and getting on these things and learning and because we've got a lug of money, and the question is, do we buy a couple more pieces of property now? Do we pay these other two off and buy a couple more properties? I don't know. But there's all kinds of things that I'm certainly up in the air about.
Yeah,
So,
I think Zuber has had some conversations over the past few months about that, where we're at and wherever we're at in our journey, that, if you pay off a couple, that amount of cash flow is really nice. If you have a chance to do that and pick up a couple more, that could be really beneficial. I would maybe caution against the Orange Apron because their management really stinks. And, that was one of my thoughts too, because back when I was coming up, Jim's a contractor, the grumpy contractor up there, and I've been a contractor for 30 plus years. But when I started out, they used to have homers, right? They used to have retired contractors in electrical and plumbing departments and things, and guys who knew what they were talking about instead
right.
of, some youngster trying to find plumbing supplies on their phone.
Exactly. That's the problem. I am by no means a contractor, and I'm by no means an electrician or plumber.
Mhm.
I the last two properties, I did pretty much all the work in the house. If anything was really over my head, like we did all new kitchen. So just from our standpoint, when we buy a piece of property, we don't gut anything if we don't have to. This last property, my God, I had to gut it because they smoked. Must have been 32 smokers lived in that house. So, but we try to take things down and get everything brand new, so that when we stick the renters that we get, that we don't have no problems getting renters. They want to get in the house right now. So that's our theory. Give them a good product at a little bit below market price and maintain the renters as long as we can. So that's kind of our thought process.
Yeah,
You'll
that's
fit
good.
right in right here. That's a good sweet spot to be in. And I'm north of Peoria.
You're the Metamora guy.
Yep.
Okay. I
Well, I've got
well
one
not
property
you
in
got
here.
one property. We were on a conference call together the other day. Obviously, he's been here a while, but ironically enough, I lived in that community for 2 years when I first got into the pharmaceutical industry. So I'm well aware of Peoria Heights and things that he was talking about. But the one thing I tell all my people, I'm not a slumlord. If something breaks, I want to know right now. And one of my best friends is actually an HVAC guy, so he knows all this stuff. So I can hire him real cheap. We can go over there and go fishing the next day. So
Like there's a Dodge dealer in Festus that offers a lot of cabin chassis, if I remember right.
Lucas Smith,
Yep.
yeah, know it well. But that's kind of my story. It's what we're up to. It's what we're doing, and looking to get in a couple more properties. We just bought the last property in October of last year. Property before that we've had will be 3 years this coming February. So anyway, take it. Maybe buy another one here coming up in the fall.
Yeah,
if you listen
sounds good.
if you listen to Zuber quite a bit, um, you get a feel for things, but you also get the impulse to want to buy. Um, and I think we all struggle with, we can, especially here in the Midwest, we can find good deals or deals that make sense. Um, and it sounds like you've been in Festus long enough that you kind of know the area, you know what's custom, you know what's up and down, and you know where the pressures are growing from that area. So
Yeah, that's why I was curious about. You guys bought properties in St. Louis because what we get is people are escaping St. Louis and they're
just like,
going to St. Charles County, which is west of St. Louis, or they're heading south towards our area.
yeah,
And that's what they're doing. And when they're certainly not going across the river into Illinois, people avoid that like the plague because of the taxes, as you know. Um, and there's some nice communities over there. When like I say, we lived there 2 years, but that's given if you're going to invest or buy something, people try to stay on this side of the river.
and out of St. Louis.
And out of St. Louis with a passion.
But when you're looking for someone like Frank is, someplace that's got opportunity, but it's also got um, a property manager that'll service an area.
That's a big difference.
Yeah,
Big difference. Yeah.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
I'd never say never because you just don't know. And I know the St. Louis market, know the St. Louis area. There are great locations in St. Louis,
Yes, yes, there are.
and there are plenty of people that need rentals. So I would never say never, but just in generally speaking, if somebody's coming into that market, boy, you better have somebody that really knows their business, and that apparently he does, that's a positive thing. So you'll do fine with that.
How was Hawaii, Jared?
It was fantastic, man. I'm not gonna lie. Thanks, Jim, for covering, man. I appreciate it.
You do not look beat up, brother. Looks like you got a good break.
Oh, dude, it was fantastic. First time in my life, I didn't bring my laptop to turn my phone off. I had the phone on, but I had it. Yeah. I took a real vacation, first time in 25 years. It was awesome.
Good for you.
Normally, I go on vacation, but I bring my laptop, my phone. I'm half-ass working, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
But not anymore. I'm like, I took a real vacation. It was nice. Thank you, Jim. I owe you big time, man. First night in Vegas, drinks are on me for you, man.
When are you showing up in Vegas?
I usually get there Thursday, but I might even come in Wednesday just to chill.
Have you gotten your tickets yet?
What's that?
Have you gotten your tickets yet?
I went to buy them when I was at work today, and Intel blocked it. So I haven't yet. No, I was going to do it tonight, actually. The wife and I are booking flights for Arizona here next week or following week or whenever she can find cheap flights. We got to finish up that last house. For those who don't know, I live in Oregon, but the houses I buy in Arizona, so it's a little difficult to do out of state.
Yeah, Jim did a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, we were having trouble. The name kept coming up on the Zoom calls. So I had to figure out why it kept doing that.
Matter of fact, he kept us overtime. I think we're there 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last Wednesday was different.
What did you do last Wednesday, Frank?
Oh, somebody got us talking about contractor stories.
And somebody trying to get arrested.
We were there for 5.5 hours,
Oh my God.
but it was a good time. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen Mark's thing, but Jim and I and Carlos are supposed to be on with Mark this Saturday at 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern, he said.
Yeah.
For just contractor talk. So
that'll be awesome.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can join. But in his advertisement, he said, ask anything. I didn't sign up for ask anything. So
I texted him and said, dude, that's opening up a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
Good thing it's not
Hey,
a
they
Zoom
can
then,
ask,
right?
you don't have to answer.
Yeah, we'll be pleading the fifth once or twice, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the way that works.
Yeah, should be a good time. So what are y'all doing? Anybody else got any questions? I see
I want to know when you're
Lindsay,
coming to help me
Josh.
with my property.
Was there a fire over by you?
Yes, there was. About 5 minutes away.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
just caught a little bit of that.
Yeah, I was keeping a pretty tight eye on it.
Yeah,
I
they got
mean,
it all.
yeah, because it was down in the gullies, so they have pretty well contained. But yeah, it wasn't far.
Was that a arson?
I'm in Calaveras, my
Oh,
properties.
oh, never mind.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's in
it was
Cal-
a forest fire. We
Definitely.
still don't know what caused it or anything else, but yeah, that would be something else to have a nice little forest fire right around when it's still not even finished building it.
That's what my first thought was. Man, you've come so far, and then it's gonna
Yeah.
be gone. Yeah, Kevin's asking about insulation and drywall. I think. What do you think about that, Jim? I don't really do. I don't hire it out too much.
I do all my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I just master bathroom remodel in Sacramento. I had them do a company do a demo, $3,100, 2 days, two guys. Prices are skyrocketing.
Yeah, that's quite a chunk.
Yeah, it's an extra because I don't have time right now. So I ended up subbing it out. But my prices are going up 30, 40%.
Is
My
that your,
drywall bid was over 30% more than I was planning on too.
is that okay? So you're talking about the contractors skyrocketing.
Yeah, everything is materials, labor, everything is. Because I'm a GC. Usually I do my own work, but I'm just too overloaded right now. So I was trying to bring in some subs to relieve some of that pressure. But now I'm losing money.
No alligators.
Well, it's not these are jobs.
I know. I know.
Yeah. But
I
but there's a point. Sometimes you don't have a choice. You gotta get caught up.
trust me. The second property we bought had from the 1960s, that pink and teal blue tile. Oh my God, that
Yep.
was. And of course, I had a contractor come in that I knew, and he looked at my wife and says, "That's got to go." And I'm like, "Oh, for God's sakes, would you be quiet?" So guess what? I was drifted. I was doing drywalling, so I don't mind doing it, but oh my God, it just added to the burden.
Yep.
Our problem around here is getting anybody that will answer your call. Say,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
good luck with that. Our house got hit by hail. It's probably $75,000 worth of damage. I mean, siding, roofs, everything. The only thing I've had done so far is a roof, and that's from last May. Now, I'm not talking about 2025 May. I'm talking about 2024. You just can't get anybody. I mean, and finally the guy showed up today to do my deck and do all that. But I mean, it's been almost a year and a half. So that's the quandary you get now. I think in St. Louis, I know you got a general person manage your property, but I've heard really good things about some of the Bosnian contractors up there, hard workers and really do a good job. So that's for your information.
Yeah, we were lucky to fall in. So we did get some referrals from our agent there, and she works with a group called 4UPM. And I just connected with one of their guys, and he's always come in lower than a property manager's guys have, and they were very quick. He sends me pictures, everything that we want, right? And his bids were very competitive. So our property manager was okay with us using them to do a few of our projects, and so I think I lucked out there.
Good. Thanks.
Steve, tell me about your new broker agent.
Try to find the mute button there. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so been on this journey for 3 months or so with the previous, and met this guy on TikTok. So creating that YouTube channel and TikTok has created a funnel for my networking. And this dude reached out to me and he's like, hey, his office is like literally in my neighborhood. Went and met with him last Friday. He's already brought me 2 deals. One pretty good burr opportunity, walked through that, put together a renovation budget, put some numbers together. And then this morning, we were about to offer on that one. He brought another one this morning that came on the market for 90K. It's already occupied through December, cash flow and like 300 a month. So we're trying to rush an offer out tomorrow morning, try to get that thing under contract so we can get inside and see how horrible it is or not. But it feels good to have someone that's, instead of me just filling the pipeline, this guy's hawking. He's watching the MLS like a hawk, and he's like, if you don't buy this, I'm going to. So, and I'm like, that's fine. I'll take a look at it. And drove by it today, scoped out the neighborhood. So it's exciting. It feels like getting a little momentum right now.
So what kind of loan do you get on something like that where you know you're going to do construction? Do you have the deep enough pockets you don't have to worry about getting a construction loan, or are you just conventional?
Yeah, so I'm pre-approved on conventional. I was looking for turnkey and I couldn't find it in my market in Jacksonville, Florida. So essentially shifting or pivoting to considering burr method with hard money would be the financing strategy there, and then exit into a DSCR.
Okay.
Yep.
There's all these options, and at the time I was just diverting my money, 401k money and things like that, and just buying into these deals, and so, but I think I need to be educated a little bit more on creative financing.
Yeah, this guy's awesome. He used to be a wholesaler. He worked on his own and he used to do shift work and shifted into wholesaling and just got his realtor's license. He's just one of these gritty guys. He's got 7 properties already. And he's like, if my money wasn't tied up in a refi right now, I'd be grabbing this thing for sure. So we're trying to be the first ones in on that 90K one. And just need to get in there and see how horrible or amazing it is. It's probably not amazing.
Wow.
But it's been tough in this market in Jacksonville. But we're down about 3-4%. So we're getting, sellers and buyers are getting a little closer.
Interesting.
What would you think the ARV will be on that one, Steve?
On the burr,
Uh-huh.
the burr is listed at 160. We're going to come in at 120. We're looking at a reno budget of about 30 on that, 25 to 30. ARV probably about 200.
Nice.
It's on slab, block home, no foundation issues. Basically kitchen, 2 baths. Looks like it's probably going to need a rewire. Saw some cloth and wire. So.
Are you talking about knob and tube, or are you talking about
Wire with cloth?
Oh, cloth? Never mind. That's all you had to say to me. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got
I
that.
didn't hear the cloth word.
I've got that stuff. Some of that left in my primary residence that we need to get on top of here soon, but need to lock one in here first. But it just feels weird to have like the pace. I've just did so much paralysis by analysis for the last 3 months that it's like getting out of that comfort zone and like, okay, I'm like, we're doing this, we're moving the funds to get the earnest money together. And, you know, it's somewhat exciting and scary at the same time. So just kind of just dealing with that and trying not to get emotional and attachment and being, you know, totally fine walking away. And just, if the things don't line up, you know, so just really trying to have discipline here.
So when you buy into a property like that, because you're buying basically from a wholesaler, um, is it without contingencies every time, or how does that work?
These are both on MLS.
Okay, so you can have contingencies. Yeah, at least have inspections.
Yeah, we'll do 10-day inspection period.
You know,
yeah.
because the market here, and again, I'm a very unique area, I guess. But I mean, they wouldn't even if you tried to give an offer on a home in the last 3 years up until recently. If you said I want an inspection, they'd just laugh at you. No, I'm gonna go to my next buyer. They wouldn't even. We had to buy our properties without inspections. That's risky, but I mean that's the way. If you're one in the game, you just have to take it as it is. But now I think things have changed now. I've noticed things are on the market a lot longer, so it's not nearly as seller friendly.
Yeah, that burr we were looking at, it's been on the market since May. It's fallen out of contract twice. They're claiming they're sitting on an offer at 150, and we're like, okay, well, you can claim whatever you want. We're coming in at 120.
Whatever.
Yeah, and this offer's good for 48 hours, and then I'm going to pester you every week from here on out, and the number's going to keep going down. But that's what's new and exciting in my world.
Nice. What if you get them both? Are you ready for that?
I think we're gonna pick one probably tomorrow. I think we're gonna go for that 90K one first, and I don't want to have too much going on right now. But they're both. I think the one that's been sitting on the market's not as time sensitive. The other one just popped up literally today. So we've been cranking numbers out, getting DSCR quotes. Yeah, just getting, you know, insurance quotes, just trying to fill in the spreadsheet and still kind of looking at it saying, no, is this real?
And what is that? A 3-1?
It's a 3.2, about 1,000 square foot. It's off grade. Foundation looked pretty good from the road. New roof, 2022. But it probably couldn't find any other permits on HVAC or anything like that. So I think the HVAC's got a pretty focused inspection list. One of my good buddies here is an inspector. He's going to walk through it with me if we can get access and make our go no go decision.
Good deal.
So what? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to ask what it might rent for there.
That's what I was going to ask.
Currently rented at $15.15.
And it only flows 300 a month. How much is taxes and insurance?
I think there's a little more upside than that. His numbers are showing more closer to 500. I'm pretty conservative on my CapEx and all that stuff. I got like 18% in there, and I put some money in on assuming there's gonna be some repairs on the front end, and so it's gonna somewhere between 3 and 5 is where it's looking like. It's kind of on the edge of neighborhood wise. Luckily there's like a bunch of like dead end streets right there, so you don't get a lot of like transient walkers. But you know, you're kind of on that edge. It's not like ghetto, but it's not. You know, you go a block over and there's like some pretty nice houses with tile roofs and, you know, relatively newer builds. So it seems like a neighborhood that's transitioning. It's kind of like every other house is kept up.
Well, good luck.
Sir, thank you. We'll
Yeah,
keep you
we're rooting
posted.
for you. It is exciting and scary, but I don't think that goes away. Maybe it's a little bit less after you get a few under your belt and they can help carry whatever new project you're dealing with. So
Agreed.
yeah, I was thinking, James, what you put in there, that seems like a fair price for 12 foot. I think around here you're probably closer to 125 a sheet.
I'm sorry, what's 125 a sheet?
James put in a comment in the chat that they're paying around 75 for labor and materials for drywall
Oh,
for a 12-foot sheet, per 12-foot sheet, which doesn't sound too bad.
Hey, Frank, can I ask a question to the group?
Yes, of course.
Anybody else in the same position now that the 100% bonus depreciation is passed, basically being forced to buy another house? I know it's a horrible thing, but that's what's happening to me. I wasn't necessarily planning on buying, but since the bonus depreciation, I can't afford not to buy another house.
I'm sorry, bonus appreciation?
It's, with the big beautiful bill or whatever, so now we have the 100% bonus depreciation came back. So from a tax perspective, I can't afford not to buy a house. So I'm trying to pull that off.
How is that going to work though, Jared? Are you just going to have to keep buying to stay?
Yeah, until I
level?
quit or get fired. But I don't want to pay taxes. So that if I pick up another house, I did the math, and on 500K, it's about 107K in write-offs for me in my market, plus the interest on all the mortgages and the 3.5% and all that. So with what my current setup is, I'd have to buy one more house, and then I'd be a zero-sum game, debt, no taxes. So I did have to pay last year because I'm a dumbass, and I liquidated some IRA funds, and I did realize it, but I didn't care. I just wanted to go, and I was able to offset a good chunk of the taxes down to about 25 grand, but I had another 25 grand in the 10% penalty because I liquidated about 250 grand. And so it's a fee. It's a pay for people that didn't know, it's a penalty. It's not a tax. You can't offset it no matter what you do. So you are paying that,
If you're under 59 and a half.
If you're under 59 and a half, I'm 51. So I'm paying it. So I paid it. But what I think I'll do is I'll buy this next property with the HELOC towards the end of the year, and then I'll liquidate January 1, some money to backfill the HELOC. That way I can get the house, and then I'll worry about that 10% hit 2026 taxes. And unless I find a private money lender that's willing to lend me something before then.
Gotta keep kicking that can, huh?
Well, I've got two, but I don't like either one of the deals. Well, one of them I like more than the other one. One he wants equity and basically like a loan. Don't like that one. Although he doesn't want a dime and for 6 years. So that's attractive. But if you do the math, even the cash flow that, like, he wants 67K at the end of 6 years, and he's going to give me 200 grand. But if you do the math on that, the house itself won't even pay the 67K, and he wants half equity in the house too. And I'm like, no. But I got another guy, he wants to do something. Maybe you guys have heard of this. This is interesting. He said that he wanted market, right? So if he wants to celebrate on the ups and downs, which is good and bad. On the downs, I don't get hit as hard. We didn't talk duration, but I'd never heard of that before. You guys ever heard of that? A private money lender that wants to do market? Yeah, most of them I heard is like, they want 8 or 10 or 12%, that kind of thing. And he said he wanted to do market with it with a percentage. I was like, huh. So I haven't found the next house yet, so I haven't hit either one of them up. But
so you're going to private money lenders for purchasing properties?
Potentially. I haven't done it yet. I've been a private money lender, and so I reached out to that group and was talking to them. But most of the people I know are short-term, 6 month or 1 year and under. And so I know a guy that used to be at Apple, or sorry, used to be at Nike, and he went to Apple. And so, talking to him, and he's got money sitting around doing nothing. He wants to put it to work. So I was like, all right, but he's the one that I don't like the equity position plus the loan. I mean, I can get a loan for that. And I don't really want to give up that much equity for, I mean, it was attractive at first. And I sat there and did the math. I was like, 6 years, no payments, nothing, and a balloon at 6 years. That's pretty cool. But he's willing to negotiate. So we'll see. Once I get something lined up, I'll hit them both up and see what they say.
Interesting. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd love to know how that turns out.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. It's just like banks. You just got to keep talking to people, and then eventually you'll hopefully find one that'll work out. So like me, I had to turn down Henry Washington, which sucked because I like the guy and I wanted to do it, but I'm not a long-term lender. And he was looking at, he was a potential long-term lender. He wanted a year loan, which I'm 6 months and under, but he said potentially would have to stretch out if it had to turn into a rental. So I was like, sorry. I wanted to do it just for the fact that it's Henry Washington. You know what I mean? That would have been cool, but couldn't do it.
Have any of you all done like a rent to own or lease to own with any of your properties?
Not yet.
I was just wondering how it works. Somebody else brought that question to me the other day. I just thought I'd check with y'all. I've heard they used to talk about it on Bigger Pockets. I haven't found the episode yet, but I guess there's pros for both, for the buyer and the seller.
My sister-in-law did it. She was the person that was on the backside of it. She was the one purchasing the home, and it was one of the only ways she could get into a home. So from people that have maybe a questionable credit just because of some things that had happened with divorces or whatever, but I think it was profitable for the people that sold her the home, and it worked out for her. So, I mean, I guess it's the way you set it up.
How long did she hold it?
I think it was a 5-year. So I know they're all over the board, 3 years, 5 years. I would be skeptical on anything beyond, personally, this is my feeling, 3 to 5 years. And then it'd be time to shut the door and them get their own loan. That's just me. But I don't know. I'll leave this question to the pros because I haven't done it. I just know she was in one.
It's popular in the sub 2 space. Sometimes when people leave a house and they're sub 2ing it to a buyer, if they want to buy another house, that loan still shows up. So what you do is you do a lease option on the house. So that way the banks see that, hey, you're getting X amount of rent for that. So that frees them up to go buy another house.
Okay. That makes
backwards, sense. But yeah.
So how does that, is that universally accepted or how's that work?
I haven't done it, but that's what they do in that space. Basically, if you're looking at a new lender, the lender wants your debt to income's too high, right? Or it could be. Typically, it's too high. So that way you offset your debt to income because you have income from the lease option on your old house that you sold to the sub 2 buyer.
Okay. There's a lot of piece of stuff I don't pay any attention to yet.
Yes, I don't either, but I just like to keep it in my back pocket in case something comes up. Because I've had a couple that I got really close on that looked pretty good, and just never closed on any of those creative ones, other than a direct to seller purchase I did. But other than that, it's all been conventional.
I've always thought it was a good exit strategy because then you don't have to deal with the phone calls anymore, and you still got, monthly check coming in.
Yeah, it gets complicated though, because sometimes I think you have to know each other well, because I've seen where someone will sub to it to a buyer and that buyer will turn around and wrap it and then basically sell it to somebody else like a wholesaler. And then it gets complicated because then you have 3 parties involved, right? And then and then it gets weird because then if the ultimate buyer screws up, well, then the person that's on the hook is the person who wrapped it. And if you're the seller and you have this lease option, you don't have the money coming in. I mean, it's like a domino effect, right? So it's no bueno.
No, the only way I would do it is to a tenant. If I had an existing tenant and then I just wanted to carry them, and I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't get a deal with it wrapped up in a sub-2 situation.
Yeah, I know a lot of those guys will do it, but they'll do it for 5 years instead of 3. And I guess a lot of times people don't actually execute it. They move out 3 or 4 years and they don't. So then you end up with the house. Hopefully they maintained it with the equity paid down and you get to keep the house. So that's kind of neat.
Right.
So there's also a clause in the contract that you either have to pay the loan off or seek permission to sell before you can sell it.
I would think you'd want to have something like that, because I know of a guy that did one of these where he got to buy the property over like a 10 to 12 year period of time. And the only reason that the guy was selling it like that is because he wanted to avoid the taxes.
Yeah.
Right. Trying to stretch it out.
He stretched it out over that period of time, and it was still profitable enough that, it worked out for both parties. And yeah, when you say if somebody gets in it and then they try to sell it, oh my God, that is I don't know. I think contractually you'd have to have something set up to lock them in to say, hey, you're buying this. I'm not going through a third party to have to deal with that stuff. But again, it's not me.
I got a story for you guys. We've been working on leaving our PM, and so we got signed up with him Lane, and I've been calling the tenants and everything. Just 2 properties, but anyway, calling in the tenants and getting everything switched over, and I called the PM because we're still waiting for him to fund the security deposit back, and so I've been texting him and calling. I stopped at the office and got the keys and all that stuff, but he wasn't there. And anyway, I called him. He finally called me back today. He's like, "Sorry, I haven't got back to you. I accidentally shot myself in the hand with his concealed carry." He's like, "Yeah, I went to clear it, and like I've done 100 times." And he says, "Now I might lose my pinky." So I felt bad for him. I didn't know if he was BSing me or not, but there's your for all the people that struggle with PMs. There's your feel good story of the night.
Well, if it's a Sig Sauer, I know a guy works at Sig Sauer, and they actually have a recall on some of the, because I don't know if you heard about this, but there's something messed up with the weapon where it actually will discharge. So crazy.
Fires.
Yeah. It's like, that's not good.
Yeah.
It's the P320s.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, they had Milwaukee had them as service weapons, and a couple of them discharged a couple times.
Oh man.
Maybe some of the times it was self air, but some of the times it was the guns.
That's nuts.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys. My buddy Hans, he's pretty much my subject to mentor, and he closes on a lot of subject to deals, and his strategy is essentially acquires the property via subject to, and then he does a lease to own, and then he utilizes the down payment as a way to get that bulk cash at the very beginning, and then he uses the terms that he gets with that person to get the cash flow. But since he's doing a lease to own, he doesn't have to treat it like a long-term tenant, right? Like a regular renter. So he doesn't have to deal with any of the maintenance, because they're supposedly going to own the property. You know what I'm saying? So what are you guys' thought on that strategy?
Yeah, it's a residential triple net. Yeah, that's exactly how. And my contingency was, as I planned on doing some of these, my price point was going to be at the point that it was hard to get financing. So a lesser amount. And the goal was to try to get as close to 12% as I could.
Ray, what you mentioned, that's what Pace does. He does the exact same things. He just want to deal with it. But they use a third party servicer for the payments, so that way legally if something happens, they got that covered. There was something else to that though. oh, he was targeting how he found the members was he was targeting people that couldn't qualify necessarily for a regular purchase. And so he was targeting the people that were in that middle zone, like not horrible credit, but not good enough to get the house. And so that's what it was for. That was his target audience. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I think it's a cool strategy. I think my biggest thing is it's a lot of paperwork, right? Like, you know, thankfully I have Hans that kind of teaches me all these kind of things, but just just trying to get a deal done and trying to keep track of everything, it just I don't know, it's a little overwhelming for me, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people use transaction coordinators, you know, 800 to $1,000. People that have been doing this over and over and over, that's all they do. And
Yeah.
Pace has his own title company too. It's a creative title company, so you can leverage him that way. You don't have to deal with explaining everything to everybody.
Yeah.
Do you guys, for the 2 rounds we did, we had them, anybody that's 18 or over, we had to have them do a background check on them and a credit check on them. And they paid for it. Is that something that you guys do? I mean, that's, I at least for the 2 we have, by no means are we mega investors, but man, they found us 2 really good people.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common with any adult that's going to live on the property.
Okay. And then the other thing that, another thing that one of the people that we kind of got mentored by is he said, okay, once you pick them, once they go through the background check and go through the credit check, we met them at our properties, and you always meet them at their car and look in the car. And if you see Cheerios thrown around everywhere and French fries smashed into the floorboard, you might want to do the avoid thing. So both our folks are OCD, and you could tell by the cars, like, oh hell, this is an easy one.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's the advice that we get from our mentors as well. I was going to ask Ray, I have heard of that process that you described, but I was always wondering, what if the person leasing the property doesn't keep it up?
Yeah, the person who's trying to buy the property.
Yeah.
And that's actually the thing I asked my buddy, and he was just like, you know, it's actually kind of good. You know what I'm saying? If they, let's say they pay it for the next 3 years and then they stop and you have to foreclose on them, well, you're essentially getting the property back and hopefully it's gained, you know, equity, and then you would just go and sell it again and then get another down payment because they're going to lose their down payment, right? And depending on what that down payment is, that could be 10, 15, or whatever you agree on. So it's kind of beneficial to the person who's selling that property, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a tactical reason that some of the people ask for lower down payments because it's easier 3 years down the road. Let's say a 5-year balloon, but 3 years in, they need to move or life happens. They can easily walk away from, say, 15, 20 grand as opposed to 50 grand, right? 50 grand, they're not going to want to walk away from. 15, 20, they might. So there's people that do that. There's all kinds of games in there, you know?
Yeah. And can I tell you, like, the one thing that I did notice, you know, doing this strategy, you know, there's some very smart people who understand the paperwork, you know what I'm saying? Like the guy that I get mentored by, he's got a PhD, right? So he thinks a lot differently. And so if you're down with the paperwork and you can do a lot of the disclosure forms that you need to protect yourself, I think it's a really viable strategy, but I think it gets a little overly complex once you really get in deep with it, unless you have a coordinator like Jared was saying.
And so you guys, Ray, you're moving furniture into your third place. Is that what I saw on there?
Yeah,
Nice.
our tenant's gonna be leaving here soon, and yeah, we're gonna do a slow transition. I don't know if you remember that contractor that I was asking you for advice on. Him and his wife, they're also doing an Airbnb, and they're gonna actually live in our unit, while they're getting theirs going because they don't have a place to live because they're going to buy a house next year. So we said, hey, you know what? While we're transitioning, you want to live here and it covers our costs, and then we could slowly furnish it, and then it's a win-win for everybody. So I was able to find like a cool strategy that everybody liked.
That's great.
My hope is, with me being able to take months to furnish it, I can keep getting these Facebook Marketplace deals, you know what I'm saying? So that's the hope.
When they're done, Frank can move in.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, I've
right?
been checking it. I've been checking around for rents. I asked Flavio, but he says he charges too much.
You'll have to extend the ceilings higher for Frank to move in.
Yeah, that's cool. I forget where I saw. Somebody was advertising like a 3-bedroom Airbnb. They were selling everything. I want to say it must have been in St. Louis though, but they were going to turn it back into a long-term rental. So they had all this pretty cool, pretty new stuff that they were getting rid of.
That was actually one of the scenarios I just had, Frank. Somebody in Seattle, they had a long-term Airbnb, they had an Airbnb, and then they were just like, you know what, this isn't working out, so they sold it. And I was getting irons and ironing boards and fire extinguishers, all those things that you need for the Airbnb for like pennies on the dollar, you know what I'm saying? And
Oh yeah, nice.
but the problem is when you're in a hurry, it's hard to get good deals, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Is Mark on?
No, that's why we're all still here.
So yeah, we should develop a plan to mess with him on Saturday.
Well, did you see? Did you see how he's finding winners for his giveaway?
No, I did not.
They're supposed to be able to spell the Hawaii state fish.
Huma huma nuku nuku apoa. Good luck with that.
That one, yeah,
I
So-
cheated. I was just there. So
yeah. So I don't know when. I think he's doing the giveaway on Monday. He said.
Can't you just Google and paste?
Yeah, that's where I went first.
Yeah,
But then
Curtis,
I thought AI was lying to me because that name looked weird.
Yeah, he blackballed me and Flavio.
Curtis and I are supposed to be helping on Monday to do the giveaway, so
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I'm gonna throw your name back in there with Flavio's name, all right?
Fabio's the winner.
Did well, he said, what's
I'm not
that?
part of it. I'm not part of it.
Frank, have you
he's
looked into renting your house here and then moving to Washington, or you need the sale proceeds to do that?
well, we talked about it. Sale proceeds is really, yeah, the first reason, but I think I mentioned to you guys I was nervous about renting it out because of it's on septic, and I don't really trust tenants with septic. I don't
So
know
you
how
just
deep.
schedule the septic guy to come out. Put that in the lease. Every
Yeah.
6 months, the septic guy comes out, pumps the tank, and checks the system.
Yeah, because it's crazy here. I mean, I think rents for our home is a 2-1, and it's about 1,000 square feet, and I think the rents are up like $3,200.
wow, he's in California.
Schedule septic.
Yeah.
Schedule septic.
Yeah, so it's nuts. I was talking to a guy on the last job we did. He renovated on top of his garage. It was really a lot of space, a lot of headroom and everything. So he created a studio up there, and he was thinking, renting like for $1,200 a month or something. And we we just went over and showed him the HUD fair market rents and stuff, and he couldn't believe how much he could get for that place. It was like $2,000 for a little studio. Oh, you have them too, Flavio?
Do you know Paul
Yeah.
Rink?
I met Paul Rink at the first event.
Oh, okay, yeah. You should talk to him about septic. He just went through hell.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, North Carolina. So
Yeah, I don't know. Dion's had pretty good luck. He always says he never has any issues, hasn't even pumped them or anything in years. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Well, if they're done correctly, they're not a problem. If they're a gravity fed drain to the leach field and everything, it's not an issue. Like the two I have are pumps. So the actual is lower than it has to get pumped to the front yard and to the backyard.
Hmm
Yeah, that one's more difficult. But
My
septic doesn't worry me. Wells worry me more than septic.
Yeah, I'm better with the well than the septic, but my concern is always, because it's got the two chambers and the one being the solid chamber, if that gets full and then the solids start going over into the second chamber, then they're going to make their way down the leach field and clog things up. That's always what I worried about.
Yeah, that's why you have to have a pump every once in a while.
I just had this issue, Frank. I have a septic here at the Brownie, my Airbnb, and I have a lot of people coming going through the Airbnb. And one of the first things that we realized when the septic was full was, you get a little bit of backup sewage in your bathtub. So you'll hear a little bit of gargling and whatnot. So for me, I literally, just like what Jim said, I just gave a call to somebody that I knew, and I was like, hey, they were there within like the next 4 hours. We pumped it and it was good as new, you know what I'm saying? So I think you'll have signs and probably your tenant will be like, hey, yo, yeah, this thing is bubbling or it's got some dirty water coming out of the
You don't have an
bathtub.
alarm on yours?
No, no, I don't.
See, ours has a pump, so it pumps out to the leach field, so it has an alarm on it. When it gets to a certain point, the alarm kicks off.
Mine's more gravity fed,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I don't have.
But you can add alarms to them.
Oh, okay. Well,
It just goes to a certain level, and then that alarm goes off.
do
And I'm sure nowadays they have them where they're electronic and Wi-Fi based, and it can just send to your phone.
Oh yeah, like our little
Okay. You'll have to send me something like that, Jim.
I don't have anything on that, but they have to have it because I haven't
Okay.
looked into it yet. But they have to. There's just yeah.
I'm not installing
Septic's
it,
easy. You're digging a freaking hole. You're putting in a big old bathtub with a cap on it, and then you're running lines out. It's nothing. A well can go away. You can lose your water. The well can make it so either it has to go deeper, or the water can stop producing.
hey Jim, what do you I've got all sewer, don't have any septic, but I've got one or two clowns that are using these supposedly biodegradable wipes, which they're not. And I've told them repeatedly, you cannot use these. So in a septic system, if people were using those, would that start to clog it
Screw
up?
up the septic system.
Yeah, that's the thing is, you got to train your tenants to not do that, right?
Angel Soft.
Angel
At
Soft.
the least, you have to use specific items for that. Biodegradable, everything. And dude, I won't put a disposal in either one of my units because of that. I don't want people putting anything down the drain. And it's Frank, does yours have the concrete lids or do they have the actual plastic lids where you unscrew it?
Yeah, mine's an old concrete tank. I have the two concrete lids for it.
Okay, so you can take those off and you can put risers on it that are a lot easier to take that cover off to where you can visually inspect it.
If I'm in Washington,
Then you have a handyman do that. Is it your nephew? Who works for you?
My cousin Lucas.
Is he leaving with you or?
No, he didn't want to go, so he's going to.
So he can take care of the property. He's got a built-in job.
Yeah.
Hey Frank, when are you doing this, man? When are you moving up here to the Pacific Northwest?
Well, we've been talking about it for a while. I was letting folks know that Cynthia signed up for one more year of teaching part-time. So she'll be working 2.5 days a week and hopefully easing into the retired life, I hope, instead of just diving in. I wanted her to stop last year, but honestly, with all the money we had to put out last year, I think it's a little bit of a savior that she didn't mind going back for one more partial year. Hopefully we'll be able to get back into position to be able to move at that time. We are Justin Cameras got us on a watch list for properties up there, and so there's some interesting stuff. We were looking for 2 small homes on one piece of property with a workshop. So my last question to him was, maybe it's easier to find a property with a workshop and 1 home, and then what does it take to add another small home? I know the septic system would have to be done. But then as far as zoning, is that commonly permitted up there?
Frank, if you ever want to chat, let me know because I can generally find deals. I just don't know where you're looking because I'm the one capturing these, and sometimes I can find it before it even goes on MLS, and you can have Justin Canberra reach out for a direct offer. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what your requirements are, and I could definitely keep an eye for you.
Yeah, we definitely could loop you in on that. We have a couple properties saved that would have been pretty close to ideal. And the reason we needed 2 homes is because I have one of my aunts wants to go with us, and she's willing to split the cost of the property with us. So, we're thinking we might have 300,000 to 400,000 once we sell our house, and she has about the same. So we're looking around the $500,000 range, and doesn't have to be a huge property. A couple of acres maybe, just a little bit of room.
No, depending on where you're looking at, there's definitely areas like down south, Tenino, Olympia, that area. As you go deeper, those price ranges, you can get 5 acres of land, a shop, maybe ADU unit on it. It's pretty crazy what you can get.
Yeah, that's kind of the area that a lot of the properties have been coming up in, like you said, kind of south of Olympia. There's, kind of an egg shape down there that a lot of them have been popping up in. But yeah, I'd love to have a conversation with you and chat more with you about that.
Yeah, happy to help.
Yeah, and yeah, Jared, we would definitely let you know if we end up going that way. I think Cynthia's calendar is probably what we have to consider, but Dion was saying he's going to be gone all winter. We could go stay at his place while we're there.
Back, guys.
Somebody say something?
I think you said night.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I was talking to my dogs.
Oh.
We're only worried if your dogs talk back.
Maybe one of them can. I don't know yet.
Well, what you call it, Frank? I'll keep you posted because if you hit around the time where you're transitioning and you need like a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house in the meantime, I can give you a really good deal. So for sure, because I know how it is when you're trying to transition into a new home and relocating.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Dion mentioned, was maybe to try to go up there and rent for a little while and really explore, right? Because we don't want to land someplace that we're not going to be happy. This is going to be the last time, I think, that we, pull up stakes.
Dude, that's gonna be cool. We get Frank over here. You're coming to the dark side, baby.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, man, I'll go up there too. I wouldn't mind seeing Curtis and Dion and all those guys too.
Yeah, I would just,
Ray too, I guess. But
did Curtis just have his first open house today? I saw his sign on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that's awesome that he did that. I think, was it Tom talking about maybe becoming a real estate agent? One of our other friends, Tom, in Washington State, just did that, and he's just starting being an agent up there in Washington.
You know what's cool is like the community is so close here, you know. Sometimes I turn around, I'm like, "Oh, you're in real estate too?" And you know, with Curtis and a lot of people from the Tacoma Five being in the real estate industry, it's just a fun, supportive network group, right? And with you, Frank, being a contractor, oh my God, bro, we got you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You'll be busy.
Yeah, I think I will need to work for a while, but that would be awesome. Having to get used to working by myself again has been kind of a challenge. You know, the cousin that Jim mentioned, he'd been working with me for about 25 years, and since we were considering moving, and I thought it would be a good time for him to start finding work on his own. You know, he lives probably 30 minutes from where we live, and he's been successful. He's been finding work over there, so I have to be careful which jobs I go look at, because if it's something too strenuous, I'll have to hire somebody new to come help me anyway. So I've been doing smaller projects, things that I can do by myself. But remembering how I used to do stuff by myself is bringing back some painful memories.
Yeah, can't do it anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Especially, you know, 3/4 inch plywood and all those kinds of things.
Oh, the MDF is worse than plywood.
Yeah. Well, I was happy when we used to have Orchard Supply down here. Did you guys have that up there?
Yeah, we still do.
And Orchard Supply used to carry bags of concrete and mortar that were only 5 pounds. That's more my style.
Yeah, I just
56.
lifted 80 bags of 60. So we got to do 300 feet of fencing next week.
Yeah, that's for the young guys.
I'm going to become a young guy for a week. After that flooring cost, I cannot afford to have somebody come out and do all that stuff right now.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's tough when you have to go find help like that. And, you know, not that the guys really dig into you, but they can basically charge what they want, and you need the help. So it's kind of tough.
That's what we should start doing. Get all these homeowners or these real estate investors to come work for us, make them do the work, teach them how to do it, and we sit down on the side of a lawn chair.
That would be a win-win, yeah. They
Contract
get the
school.
education.
Yeah.
That would probably work. You know that? It would actually work because they'd be like, "Oh, you want some on-the-job experience to be an investor?"
Actually,
Yeah.
so I wonder if there are any hands-on like mentorship programs for contractors.
Outside of vocational schools, I don't know. My mom used to really dive in. She loved construction, and she took plumbing classes and electrical classes and all these things. It was pretty cool. But I had that thought today when I was doing my video about, you know, Dion and Matt, and a lot of people have talked about how we're lacking in the trades anymore. But if you talk to, you know, 18 to 25-year-olds and tell them they should go be a plumber because of all the great money they can make, they don't want to do the work.
Oh.
They don't care how much they make. That's really sad.
A few youngers that have passed the electrical training courses, no, those courses are expensive. But they get into union jobs, they're making $30 an hour.
Yeah, they're right
A lot
up
of
there.
people going through and getting a 4-year degree.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, new construction is a little bit better, but remodeling, you know, they're like, oh, you mean I got to crawl under the house to go see where that pipe's at?
Yep.
Yeah. Don't you have a video or something?
Pretty soon we're gonna have drones.
Yeah.
Wait,
Crawlers.
you go, Ray. I need a crawling drone, not a flying drone, a crawling drone.
Oh God, I thought everybody could just make money dancing on TikTok, you know, bro. I know.
I tried it. I was starting to have to pay people to watch. Yeah, Jared, they did have, well, I don't know if they had trade classes, did they, Jim? But they do have like some classes to teach people how to do tile and things like that.
Yeah, they would have just little basic, little 1/2 quarter day things and stuff like that.
Yeah, they had like sheetrock and the basic stuff, nothing hardcore. Although I think there was a soldering one for plumbing or something like that once. So
it is amazing. You can learn most of it on Google or on YouTube. Most of it's there.
Yeah.
Frank,
Yes.
so your video that you posted, the van confessions,
Today.
yes. So I watched it. It's very true though. Knowing the trade and then running a business are two different things, right? So being a hands-on investor and an actual investors, two different things.
Very true. And that, I, like I mentioned, when Jim and I were talking last week, and, Jim's like, you got to charge for all this time. And I guess I realized in my head I should be charging for it, but I never did. And I think if I had that mentality when I got started, like I said in the video, I think we would be much better off financially today. I mean, we're not, homeless or anything, but we're certainly not. And I guess, Jim, my thought was also, and JSIC, so if you're going to be a successful general, you've got to have some pretty big projects going, I think, right? You can't do it on the little remodeling stuff that I'm doing. You would have to have, 10 or 15 jobs going at a time to make that work. And I never really wanted to grow big.
Run.
I started that way, but then the work it was going to take to get big was just nuts. So, because I know a couple people that have sold their businesses and they got like 400,000, 500,000 for them. The ones that really sell them are like a glass company because they could go by square footage. It's a lot easier. Tilt up construction, fencing, anything that you can do by square footage or by lineal foot, real easy. And then also service repair, any kind of HVAC companies, that type of stuff, you can easily sell those because you have a client list that is continuous.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot easier. Well,
Yeah.
like Ree's business, that'd be very hard to sell because he's the one taking the photographs. So that's an art form. That's very hard to sell that business. And the way you and I are doing stuff, we're doing all of our own things, so that's hard to sell that. Who are you going to sell it to? So they're not going to have somebody that's going to be able to do everything we're doing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had that thought. I don't have anything really to sell. I mean, you hear about businesses selling their client list and
Yeah.
all this stuff, but we don't really have that.
Yeah, one of my
But
friends
you
is a
could
is a
I
pool
watched
company.
I took a course one time a few years back on a guy, and he said it to he was a finance, he had a construction company. He got to finance, and his thing was build any construction, any business, you build it, right? Build it as if you were selling from the day one. Because if you build it that way, and even if you don't want to sell it, if it comes to it, at least you can sell it. But you're gonna have a business that's running instead of business that's running you.
Yep.
That was his thing. You know what I mean? And that opened my eyes big time. Because I was the same thing. Nobody can do it better. It's my name on the line, right? I have to go, I have to touch it, make every customer happy. But at the end of the day, you cannot make everybody happy. So if you put boundaries on it, right? Like I've been talking to you guys. I don't work past 5 o'clock. None of my employees do. No weekends work, right? Because it's not the employees that give me the boundaries. I tell the customers what I want to do. And if they want me to help them, I'll help them. If they don't, find somebody else, right?
Yeah, I think, another point, thanks for watching that video, by the way. Sometimes I wonder how many people get to see it, but that was another thing where over the years, like in the beginning, we're hustling, trying to find customers, right? So we'll do a lot of things to get the work. We'll take on too many jobs. We'll run around too far trying to please everybody, and we'll drive further than we want to get those jobs. But now, and I guess I kind of feel bad because, like I said, when I'm talking to someone about a job, I'm like, you need me more than I need you, right? I don't want to, I don't know. I feel bad at kind of having that attitude, but they kind of do. And now I guess now that I'm getting closer to the end of my career, and I guess it's kind of like the real estate thing, right? We did it wrong the first time, and it took us a while to get on track. You can always regret things that happened in the past and how slow you might have come around, but at least we have a few more years to try to do it better. and I look forward to that.
I have a feeling once you do get moved and settled in Washington, you'll probably make more money there than you did ever here. Because you'll be in a different situation. You'll take on exactly the jobs you want to take on that can make the most profit for your time. So I'll bet you will make more dollars down there.
Can I ask you?
And you have a set a group of people that to work off of that you don't have to market to.
Can I ask you this, Frank? Like for me, like, you know, going to a different state after I've been building my business for so long here, especially for you, you're like 30 plus years, you know what I'm saying? Just the amount of clientele, you don't need a website, you don't need anything. You just need your phone and it'll ring, right? So I guess like that's always been a fear of mine, you know, because I've never had to relocate and uproot my whole business and go into a different location. Is there, I don't know, is there something that you feel a certain type of way by doing that?
Yeah, I think, and my first thought was, I guess, to pretend I was a beginner, right? Go to all the lumber yards, all the hardware stores, all the, you know, whatever, plumbing, electrical supply houses and things like that, and just kind of, I guess, make yourself noticed. So, I mean, even if I'm just going there to buy stuff for my own property while I'm fixing it up or something, when I'm on phone calls, when I call someone even out of state about the properties, I always make sure to tell them, you know, my full name, and that's kind of practicing like that to help people remember you. Not that it might not bring business right away, but the other thing is, and kind of a funny thought, you know, knowing Dion and knowing you guys, if you guys ever need anything small, whatever it is. But I think sometimes when Dion talks about how much he pays his handyman, I'm like, I don't think so. If you want me to go do it, you're gonna have to pay me a lot more than those guys. And you know, that video he did where he had to do the big trash out on his last property that the tenant left a mess. And I think the guy charged like $400 to remove all that stuff. And maybe I have California-itis, but here that would have been a couple $1,000s easy.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't mean that I'm going to go there and try to gouge people or anything, but even though maybe you don't need to make as much per hour because you're semi-retired or whatever, but still your time is still worth something, you know, more than $10 an hour.
But you forgot the key part. Dion says that he lets them keep whatever they find. They can keep whatever the junk. No,
yeah, and when you get to my stage, you don't want any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Nope.
I have
I am
people
not a pack rat.
give me stuff all the time, and I'm like, no. It took me a while to say no. You should have seen my place. It was like what do you call it? The group that takes all the old construction materials and stuff. It's like
Sanford and Sons.
Habitat for Humanity. Yeah. What did you say,
Yeah,
Jason?
One thing I would add up to it, Frank, what Jim was saying, right? I always challenge people because it's the same thing as Zuber and everybody else that tells you, right? What's the best time to do something, right? Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The next time, today. So why wait till you move and start doing that thing if you can start doing today? And I think it's the mental challenge that we have, right? Because I went through it with coaches in the past in my business. Until you open up your eyes, right? And it's because right or wrong, what you charge the customers, they stealing your time away from you, right? That's all they stealing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the money. Because like you said, you can move and you can make more money. The time that they took away from you, searching online, going to the store, from the store to store, you're not getting back. And we had a customers, like even right now, I have phone calls from my office, like, hey, the guy said, hey, if your technician can replace the handle on the door, right? Do you have a handle? No, you have to go pick it up at Home Depot. I'm like, no. Right? Because we all know it. There's no 5-minute Home Depot runs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then if it's you probably take a 30, 40 minutes, right? It depends how far you are from the store. But if you send your employee, how long do you think that's gonna take?
Yeah.
Right? And who's paying for it?
Exactly. So I just had I had a customer call me. Well, she didn't call, she texted me. We had done a remodel about an hour from here. We did the whole house. We did, we put in one of those neo angle shower kits with the door and everything, and the tenant pulled on the glass and pulled it out of the gasket, in the channel. And she asked me if I would come over there and fix it. And, my first thought was, it's going to cost you too much for me to go over there. That's my thinking today. A few years ago, I would have said, sure, I'll come over and fix it, But the other thing, like you just mentioned, Jacek, is, if the gasket got torn or something, that's not something you just go to Home Depot and get, right? You got to be a glass shop or something like that to have those materials readily available if it does need to be replaced. So, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I can tell you stories. So I had going back to going and helping customers on that stuff. So I had this week on Monday, my office told me you have an appointment scheduled with the lady, and I'm like, the name sounds familiar, right? But I'm like, why do I have to go? It's a broken shower panel, right? It's like, no, she specifically said it's you. She called like 5 times. I cannot send nobody else. And I'm like, but what happened? So the panel broke. It's a shower we installed 6 years ago for a contractor on a new build, right? So it's a frameless shower, fixed panel, big panel with a new wall, right? Like with a bench, broke. She wanted me to clean the glass. So she had it for like 3 weeks because she was waiting for me to show up to the thing. And she's like, I want you to clean it. I'm like, I'm not cleaning nothing, ma'am. Like, you can order, pay for a new panel. The guys will come in and they will clean it, right? But she tried so hard. And like, again, like you said it, 2 years ago, I probably will still be cleaning it. Right now, I was like, okay, I'll send you a new quote. And we'll see you when we see you. But I won't even, like, right now, like, and I told her, I came back to the office, like, don't ever schedule anything like that for me. Because it's not worth it's at the end of the day, it's not worth it.
Right. Yeah. And this family has become friends over the years, but I called a few glass shops for her just to see who might go. And all the ones I called asked first, did we install it? Right.
Yeah.
None of them would go if they didn't install it. They wouldn't even consider it. So
no, it's a liability because the last person that touches is responsible for the whole enclosure. So even if you have a water leak, right, like that somebody installed it, and then 2 years down the road, it's the last person that came in. Yeah, we don't touch it either.
Right. That's another liability, going back to what Jim was talking about. Sometimes when we charge what we charge, that is part of the reason, right? Because if I go to replace a faucet and the angle stop starts leaking, who's got to fix it? I do, because it happened when I was working on part of the system. So, I mean, I don't think you could really do that on everything, but replacing an angle stop, would take hopefully 15 or 30 minutes to replace it, depending what type it was. So you might add, a few bucks just in case something like that happens. I was watching some guy on TikTok has been talking about that they don't do free estimates. I've never charged for estimates, but he was saying that, like Jim says, he goes in and he'll ask them what their time frame is and what their budget is. And if that doesn't mesh with what Jim's thinking, then he probably won't do the job. Or maybe he'll tell him, it's not 5,000 for the bathroom, it's more like 20,000. So, let me know what you think. But then the guy has a sit down with the client to go over the list, and he charges them for that time when they're building the scope of work, I guess you would call it. Yes. So he gets paid for the time doing the scope of work, and then, and he also doesn't itemize his estimates either. We talked about that a few weeks ago, because then you're just giving the list to some other contractor that can undercut you. So he has pretty good systems in place, and there are a lot of things that, like I said before, I never really thought about charging for, but now.
Yeah, go check it out. Contractors Fight on Facebook.
Contractors what?
contractor fight.
Fight.
Yeah. The guy was a contractor. He's in Colorado, started another new painting company because he has a coaching company now. So like a coaching contractors and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're trying to get out.
No, but he went back into starting a company just to show people that what he's teaching, it actually works.
I'll have to check that out. That sounds interesting.
But I posted in the group. I posted in the chat. But I tell you, there's most of the stuff. So him and a couple other his friends started like they call it Shinfu sales training, which I implemented in my company, right? So we do free estimates, right? But free estimates doesn't mean I go and I consult you and I teach you about what I learned through my years, right? Free estimate is like, what do you need? What roughly is going to cost, right? And if we show up to your house, you paying for a consultation fee, right? And I think the biggest thing is, if you ever work with the interior designers in your job, right? They go, they chit chat, they laugh, they smile, all that stuff. But they guess what they're doing at the end of it? Per hour billing, right? They don't care if you want to talk about drapes or I don't know, flooring for 10 hours, they'll send you the bill, right? They charge for their time. Drive, picking samples, and contractors usually don't do that, right? Like the time that we put the work behind the doors, right? All the work that goes into it, nobody charges for it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I was thinking too, did I mention to you guys the other day? So I went and asked a metal shop about repairing my dump trailer. And so I talked to the owner. I've done business with him on other projects and things. And he goes, yeah, well, we can work on your trailer. He says, I don't know how long it will take. All I can tell you is it's $225 an hour.
Oh.
And I am fine with that. Right. So, but then you turn it around and just say, I was talking to one of my customers and I said, well, I don't know how long it will take me to tile your shower, but it's $150 an hour. I don't know if a homeowner would accept that like I did. And I'm just thinking, he knows what his time's worth. If I want my trailer fixed, I got to be cool with that. And which I was, because I know it's a specialized thing. So,
but that's the difference too, though. We know what time is worth. Homeowners do not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it's our job to explain it to them.
Yeah.
As a tradesperson, you respect the other tradesperson's time and know and have an idea of like, yep, that's what it costs. He's got his shop and his time and
the skill.
Good welding's not cheap.
No, yeah, the skill for sure.
And the liability, because that's a weld that you're putting on something. If it's a door and it opens up, who's getting the lawsuit?
Yeah, if the weld cracks or something like that. We'll try to
that's
remember
what I'm
all
saying.
this.
It's our job as a contractors to explain it to the customer, right? And if they don't see it, they're not your customer. Again, right? Not everybody's your customers. Soon you figure out that thing, it's happy. Another question for you guys. Do you have a minimum charge in your companies?
A minimum for
the job?
I don't.
I'm in such a transition right now. I was working so much for a showroom and plumbing company for the last 4.5 years, plus working for other contractors. So I didn't really do any of that for the last 4 years. So now yes, there is a minimum, but I talk to people before I even step foot on a job site. If they like, we just did an estimate between me and a buddy of mine, $100,000 for the master bathroom. It's honestly getting out of control, both materials and labor. And it's going to get to a point where you're going to get a rebellion. There's going to be haves and have-nots. So you're going to get that high-end customer, and then everybody else below that's going to have to do their own work because they're not going to be able to afford the trades. It's going to get to that point.
I think there's always going to be those guys that start on they're hungry and they're going to underprice it. There's always those guys.
Oh, absolutely. But they're not putting out the quality we're putting out either.
Yeah, but they're
Yeah,
always
so,
out there.
so they have to pick between quality and price. So
Absolutely. Yes, you do.
9 times out of 10, they're going to go for the price. They're going to say,
Yep.
well, you know, it's okay. It doesn't need to be that straight, or it's okay if you paint a different color a little bit on the baseboards or whatever. So the
Or you paint around a picture.
Yep. Put it around a picture.
Yeah, but that's depends on the job. But if everybody probably on this call experience when you went with a cheaper guy and then in the end it cost you a lot more than the most expensive guy.
Exactly.
So again, the
Exactly.
customer that you choose
Yep.
your customer, right?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, but that's not always the case.
What's not always the case?
That price means better.
No,
it's not.
I
No.
agree with that, but for majority of the times, right?
Sure.
I would say 90% of the times for whatever projects are. But yeah, but I would highly recommend for people implementing minimum charge, right? If you run big company or small company, but let's say if you want to make $500 a day, right? And let's say 2 1-hour jobs, nobody works efficiency, right? It's not 100%. So you got to charge $250 per job, and that covers your pay for the day. Right? The math's easy. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah. Well, and we have such set costs, especially with work comp and everything else, that if you don't, you're going to be in trouble at the end. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say quality over cost. If you don't want good quality,
well, you got to throw that time in there too, because to
Yeah.
get the quality, it takes longer to do the project.
Exactly. So, and if you're in the business, why are you in there? Are you in there obviously not for the money? But if you're in there for the money, then you're going to do crappy jobs, and your reputation is going to follow that. So, at some point, you're not going to have any jobs. So you either take your pride in the work that you do, or don't eat, or go live with Mark. Mark will take you in.
Yeah, Mark's put a comment, save our stuff for Saturday. Just between me and Frank, we have 60-something years of experience. Then throw Carlos in there too. We got plenty to talk about.
Whoa. So you probably all didn't know that many a jobs I have helped Mr. Contreras doing many of things. Not this little gopher stuff. I've helped set floors. I've helped him with his plumbing, electrical, painting. And I didn't use any of these new little gadgets to hold your paint can. It was your hand. And my hands are not very big. And there was none of these new little, let's make straight lines by using this little gadget. No, you had to make straight lines. So I personally feel offended that I wasn't asked to be part of this group.
Mark, you in trouble.
Oh, lucky laugh. Figures you leave now.
You know you're always welcome on, but you refuse to come on camera.
Frank's not on camera right now. I'm not on camera right now. I can still talk.
That's because you took
on,
over.
On Saturday, you're welcome to join us.
I'll join you in the comments. Okay, bye, guys.
The narrator.
That's what Mark
Somebody
is.
said ask anything.
I just want y'all to know that tomorrow is the first day of school. So if you think about it, have a chuckle for me, because I will definitely be laughing at my new students and their parents when they come in and try to tell me what they think they're going to do.
You guys are starting early.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever happened to the days when you would start after Labor Day? It's like, come on.
It's all about numbers anymore.
Jeez.
The number of days they're in school, and now their kids have
you know
more
what-
days
you know
off
what
than they ever had.
No, you know what it is that parents can't handle their kids, so they got to stick them in school early. You know how many
That's true,
parents
too.
I had come in today and said, "Oh, I can't wait for school to start." It's like, well, take care of your kid.
Probably every single one of them.
Okay, bye.
Frank,
Not this guy.
I now know why you're quiet.
Oh, it's hilarious. I love this.
He has kids. So she teaches sixth grade. Well, this year it'll be seventh and eighth, but she's been a sixth grade teacher forever. And
That's
That explains it.
yeah.
and
That's
they
fun age.
Yeah, you need to give her a raise.
Middle school. I swear to God, those kids are the worst. It's
Yeah,
that period.
but her what do you call it? Her reputation precedes her because she has third, fourth, and fifth graders afraid of sixth grade because they're going to have Mrs. C.
Nice.
Yeah, but then once they get in there, they love me.
We got a teacher that my kids have went through, and my daughter got her this year, so we're all excited about it. But she's the same way. She's a tough cookie, but all of my nephews and nieces that went through her. She keeps the kids in line. We love her.
Nice. Yeah, after they get some structure because they haven't really had much of it in the years before Cynthia, and then once they get the structure and realize that she really, really cares for them and wants the best for them, then they come around.
Yeah.
Or they leave.
Need more teachers like you.
Thanks. But I'm going into construction now because I'm going to be retiring after this year. I'm opening my own business. Frank's going to come work for me.
I'm going to retire. She's going to be doing the work up there.
And so that's when you come up to live by me.
There's your new salesman, Frank.
Then I'll really be able to retire. I won't get any work.
Or you'll get the work you want.
That's probably more like it.
You
will get a lot more work.
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's not retirement there.
Yeah, I think, that kind of full circle thing, starting out like a handyman, going through being a contractor, and then maybe end up being a handyman like Jim says, that they're making some pretty good money these days. Smaller jobs. I never did like. Oh yeah? Yeah.
As a side hustle. I can do so much stuff. Like, I need to make some extra capital so I can buy some more property. Plus, I'm trying to get myself out from behind the wheel of the truck. I honestly hate my job. But so I got a buddy that's doing it and he's killing it. It's just stupid stuff.
Yeah, it's nice. And, to be someplace new every few days, you're not stuck in the same spot for too long. That's really nice.
Yeah, he works. Nice thing about it, he likes it. He'll only work sometimes like 3 days a week. And then he fishes a lot and does a lot of stuff with his kids. And so, yeah. But he lives in like pretty much where Beth Traverso, her area is. He's just north of Bellevue. But he's like right in the smack dab of Seattle. But he can be busier than he could shake his fist at if he wanted to. He turns down probably about 70% of his work.
Yeah, it would be nice, I think, to be able to pick and choose. I was thinking, what we were just talking about the value of your time and stuff. And I never would have done this again years ago, but I had a customer call me and we had installed doors and windows for him back in 2007. And he still had my number and he called me because they were Andersen and the seals on one of his French doors leaked, right? So they sent him a replacement door and they kept sending the wrong door. So eventually he had both doors that he could replace. So when we were talking, I just told him, I think I can come over. It was yesterday. I told him I can come over today. It'll be $250 for me to come over. And he was fine with it, right? I wouldn't have done that before because I would have thought maybe I wasn't worth that much, right? I mean, back in the day, it might have been back in the day, I might not have told him a price. I would have just gone there and then we would have negotiated. But listening to you guys and trying to do better for myself in the future, that's I mean, maybe not everybody would have responded that way. Somebody might have said, well, then stay home, but you never know.
I
More
think
than
that's
likely,
what
he doesn't have any other options. And how many more jobs do you have left in you?
Yeah,
There is a number. And as you get tired, you start to value your time more.
that's definitely happened. I was going to say I got 3 jobs left in me, but I think I'll have to do more than that.
Frank, that's why us investing in real estate while we're doing our business, right? It just makes us even more bold and more empowered, right? Because when I have properties throwing down 10K, I don't care if you want to sit here and negotiate. I'm a lot like Jasek, you know what I'm saying? I've built my clientele just like you guys, and we get more empowered the more secure we feel. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that you have to be arrogant or rude, but you don't have to really put up with that stuff anymore as you're more seasoned.
Hmm. Yeah, great points. That's exactly how I was thinking of it, and why I mentioned earlier that hopefully because there's a difference, right? You just said you don't need to be arrogant and come off like a jerk if you're going to turn a job away. You can still be polite and thank them for considering you and things like that. So you want to keep that balance. I don't ever want to get to the point where I tell them they're nuts and I'll see you later, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of self-reflection. That's for sure.
There is. How long have you been doing it, Jasek?
So I've been in construction since I came to the country, so since 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Owning the glass company since 2017. But I've been doing, the real estate for 2011. And then the construction, but like soon as you figure it out and specialize it and you learn how to say no, because it's again the people like looking back at it, right? And I really appreciate having group like you guys, right? And like I told you, most of my friends are a lot older than me, because you see it and you're like, man, like the sooner, and I'm not saying you guys, but it's for everybody, right? The sooner you wake up, the better you're gonna be off. And that's the reality. Because I seen it looking back at it. The people that use me the most are the family and the friends on like the top. And then the customers that you want to help, those never go up unpunished. Right?
That's so true.
I don't know if it's a Murphy's Law, whatever you want to call it, but the sooner, and it's like I said, not arrogant, right? Not being dismissive to the customers, right? It's just I know what I want from my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know what I can help you with because I'm solving that. We all solve people's problems, right? With real estate, with constructions, with whatever you do, right? You solving people's problems because somebody else doesn't want to do it or doesn't know how to get in front of them to do it, right? Because there's a lot of, I know a lot of handymans in my area. They're very good quality and all that stuff, but nobody knows about them, right? But the people that know, they underpay them, and they think that's all it is, right? And then I think a lot of contractors and handymen give themselves a bad rep, right? Because of few bad apples that are out there. They're undercharged, do crappy job, and all that stuff, right? So everybody's like, "Oh, you cannot charge double than that." But like, if you want me to come back, if something breaks, right, that it wasn't my fault, like you said, it faucet that you installed it correctly, but that was a manufacturer fault. Manufacturer doesn't care because it's already included in their pricing. You know what I mean? Like they 5 times the cost of the materials, but you got to go in there. You got to go under this thing. You got to undo it and screw the new one in. You got to drive, right? It's all your problem, not theirs. So yeah, there's a lot to it.
Yeah. What did you did you feel the difference right away from when you were working for someone and then you got your own company? Did you automatically start thinking differently? Like
No, no, a lot that so the yeah, like in real estate, right? The lesson cost. So I start hiring coaches in it, which I didn't believe it at the beginning. And I don't know if it's a young thing or Polish thing as an immigrant, because we never asked for help. So the guy, the contractor fights big one. Tommy Mello, he's like a garage door guy from Arizona. He's a giant. He's gonna be probably first multi-billionaire in the trades in the US in the next few years. There's a guy from California that started HVAC company. So I learned it from them, right? And like I say, a lot of conferences. So not going to conferences to listen to people trying to sell you stuff, but actually talking to people and learning from their experience, right? Which we all say learn from somebody's experience, but unless it costs you and make you not sleep couple nights in a row because you're worrying, that's when you really learn, right? But it's very helpful to listen to other people. It's like, hey, how I can prevent that in my business. So yeah, it took some years. I think last 4 years I've been cruising pretty well. But it's still, I mean, every few weeks there's something I'm like, I shouldn't do that. And a reminder. So like my motto now in the company, at least in the glass company, if I want to volunteer, I will volunteer on my own terms.
And
yeah, it takes years.
Yeah.
Can I add to that, Jacek? I really appreciate, you saying that because like, for me, I was one of those people who spent a lot of money on mentorship at the very beginning, where most of us, we just want to buy the gear, we want to buy the latest tools and whatnot. Something in me was like longing for a community in my business. And I spent tens of thousands of dollars, meeting the best people in the industry. And that alone probably changed the game for me in my business and expedited my whole career so much quicker. And it's hard to stomach as a new business owner, right? To spend so much money on mentorship or just being side by side by some of the top leaders in the industry. What I see it as, you're comparing yourself to your local area, right? Versus now you're comparing yourself with the people that are doing the best in the industry. And then you come back to your local area with that information and the gains are just exponential. You know what I'm saying? Absolute exponential.
No, you're so true. That's that, but it's again, it's a the reflection, right, of yourself. Because we say we cannot do it. I don't have money to go pay that guy and listen to him. Like what does he know? He never done it, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest one. Because I talk to someone, like I have contractors in my area, right? That I talk to on a daily. They're like, from the beginning, they're like, you don't work weekends? Like, how you cannot work weekends? I was like, because I have a family, right? Like, I want to see my kids play, right? And if the cost, in my head, right? If a customer calls my business, right, and somebody answers, that I paid that person to answer the phone call, right? I spend money on advertising. So when you went on Google and you were lazy, I was the first one that popped out, right? It costs money. You got to fill into my schedule, right? And like you said it, as a business owners, we learn it, but our employees, it's hard for them to learn it, right? So I had people, but we gotta help him. We gotta help him. And I'm like, okay, but it's gonna cost me time and money, right? And I'm saying, what was the last time you called a doctor or a dentist office and you told them when you want to have an appointment? And then my employees always look at me, it's like, never. I was like, exactly. They tell you when they have an opening, right? And when they can see you. Not you tell them, hey, I want it tomorrow at 10 a.m. They tell you, hey, we got tomorrow at 6 p.m. Or if not, we'll see you in a month at 5 a.m., right? Like whatever the time is. So why we should not do it the same way? Like that's like you say, the expert will tell you, right? Put boundaries and you're gonna be so much more successful. And the doors open too. When you start saying no to things that take a lot of time behind the doors that nobody appreciates, simplifying is the key, I think, right? because it speeds up the process. You can double, triple, quadruple, right? The training of the employees, and yeah, so much to it. Like you said, it big stage, right? Think big world, not your local area.
Can I ask you guys a question, right? Like, my biggest issue is I've got a place that's comfortable. I think a lot of us here are comfortable in our business, right? We've been doing it for a while. We know how to make money and get clients, but I can be the first one to sit here and admit that like I've stopped going to these conventions. I've stopped, seeking out more information. And I'm not sure whether, actually, I kind of know. It's probably just because I'm lazy at the moment and I'm just like comfortable and I'm not actively pursuing my career further because I'm in a good spot, right? But like, I feel like that's one of the things that I feel is the biggest hiccup to my business and why I haven't expanded. But I also don't know if that's what I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I got a question for everybody that's off topic. Has anybody else heard any place else of the binder strategy outside of this group?
Yes. What's somebody mentioned his name earlier. He's on Bigger Pockets. Oh, Henry Washington. He didn't call it that though, but he was doing the same thing.
He was doing the same thing?
Yeah.
When did you first hear that?
I just heard he was on the channel today.
Today.
Yeah.
Did you see the labeling on that?
There wasn't a label. This was on a YouTube.
Right. But at the bottom of the YouTube, what do they call that little window or sketch or whatever?
Uh-huh.
It said the lazy way or the hard way.
Okay.
So I've watched quite a bit of his material. I've never heard him articulate it exactly that way.
Gotcha.
So one of the reasons I think Bigger Pockets has had problems over the years is they don't give credit and they're trying to hype everything up. This is what makes this group and this school better, is we give credit for where we heard something, how we heard it, and try to be respectful. Oh, Mark, knock it off. So I'm just like that sort of I don't know. It just irritates me.
Hey,
if that's what happened.
Hey, Mark, I'll get back at him. Where's the helicopter?
So
that video.
I figured
felt the
something
same
out
way a
there.
little bit.
I figured something out there.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. I asked her what model she wanted. What exactly does she want? And that was first thing this morning because I was dreaming about it last night.
Jim got you doing it.
So, and today I took a video of 4 Blackhawks taxiing out after they had come in for a meeting at the airport and leaving. And I'm like, yep, here we go. She hasn't yet. And she started school on Monday, Frank. So your wife isn't alone in the struggle.
Charles, get a Chinook.
A Chinook.
Yeah, then you can fly all of us.
That's pronounced differently, right? So, there you go. That's the one thing I really flew in the military. So, but yeah. Anyway,
How about a Huey?
Huey. Yeah, Huey's made by Bell, and they're great. Everything's expensive. Just look at the. I don't know. You're not going to prime me. The prices. The prices. So I seen.
Remember, few rentals away. Few rentals away.
Okay. So I looked at helicopters today. Like I was waiting for this to come on. The Bells, the lowest price Bell was and that was a 206 was 400,000. And the highest was 5 million. we've got 2 aircraft in the hangar. She just wants to look out the damn window. This is real. So yeah, I'm like, and here's the other part about that is what you guys probably don't know is that getting a private pilot license with a fixed wing is much cheaper, meaning that we own it. It's a minimum of 40 hours, and the transition program is only 20 hours. So the local Robinson that's $500 an hour is only 10 grand. So there you go. There's my 2 cents. How you doing, Jim?
Hey,
Picking
pretty
up.
good.
What's the maintenance on those two there, Charles?
Well, everything depending on how they're operated, but there's, yeah. And that's exactly what I was talking about with some folks spend money thinking in their mind that they're buying themselves security, and the maintenance isn't any better than what a little airport will charge her versus a big airport. So, like, yeah, you see crap. And that's the biggest thing that I was wanting to add is the farther we get down these professions, the more we're able to ferret out the deals that are viable and the deals that aren't. But we got to get burned a few times.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more hard-headed. It takes me more than a few.
Yeah.
It's all about the process, right?
Yeah.
So, and back to the aircraft thing is, I wouldn't mind buying it. In fact, I looked at buying an aircraft instead of buying rentals. And it was a matter of how can I consistently keep it profitable, not just owning it. So, and I come up with some ideas, but it's just like the S&P. It works for most people because the law of averages. Rentals is the law of averages, but each one of us want to have some control, which is why we're here. So there you go.
I think it's Robert Kiyosaki says if you want to have the life you want, you got to be able to have the income to support that life you want. So he's like, if you want that new car, well, looks like you're going to have to buy an asset that's going to be able to support the cost of that car.
And then Coach Carson says, when is enough enough?
Yeah.
Because that's the other side of this is if you're just going to pump the pump and hype the hype, are you actually getting any farther ahead? Are you progressing towards your goal? So, yeah, Thatch was an aircraft mechanic as well.
Yeah, I got a shortcut for that, Charles, but not
What's
for
that?
you. For the other people, just find a friend that has a helicopter.
There you go. And you know what my shortcut is? Work on somebody
What?
said work on them.
Oh,
See,
but
you put all this time into actually getting the qualifications and doing the work and then trying to buy one. Then once you realize you're in the industry, there's people that want you to fly their stuff or that want you to fly with them because they're tired of flying alone. Just gotta get in there and do the work.
yeah. So again, full circle, networking, right?
Yep.
Knowing your worth.
Yep. Yeah. And just like with Frank, knowing when to be quiet because you're not going to gain anything sometimes.
Well, I've been
Notice how
thinking,
fast he ducked out when Cynthia came around.
I think he ducked out before and she gave him a potty break.
yeah. I was thinking while you guys were chatting about how much we need to retire, and I think we're kind of lucky in that respect because we don't really travel or anything. I don't have any wishes to travel. I think I'm going to be happy just being home, messing around the house, and I think that's a good thing because I was listening to somebody today talking about, spending 10,000 a month or whatever it is. And I can't imagine my life being like that where I would need 10K a month.
What I can imagine for you, Frank, is living in one of your rentals, buying an RV, heading to the places you want to head when you want to head, and go see your friends, and put the money from the California place in the bank if you don't want to maintain it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the RV idea, and we have talked about, just traveling the country, meeting all you guys in person. That was one of my original wishes. The other thing that, Carrie, I guess, is putting kind of a wrench in that plan is my aunt, because she would be on the property as well. I told her we weren't planning on being home all the time, so hopefully, I'm trying to prep her for that too, because I don't, like you said, if we want to go somewhere, we'll have money to go, go take a trip and things like that. Nothing lavish, but that's not what we're about either. One of the other thoughts, and maybe it's just me, you guys, you hear my weird thoughts all the time in my videos, but earlier in my career, I was always nervous, like about getting my jobs inspected or having another contractor seeing what I was doing, wondering if I was doing it wrong or there was a better way to do it today. Things like that. And just over maybe the last decade, I realized that I was doing a much better job than a lot of those guys were doing. But I was just so unsure of myself all those years. So that's something I had to overcome as well. And now, it's become evident with other contractors in the area coming and asking for tips or advice or things like that, which is rewarding as well because, these younger guys are just trying to get started. And like we joked about last time with all of our horror stories, you don't want to scare them away from becoming a contractor, but you want to help them, just like with the real estate, right? Real estate mistakes you want to share. So somebody might avoid that. It's the same thing Jasek was saying. Help another contractor avoid some of the pitfalls with crazy customers or situations that you've been through. So
I used to weld for a buddy that raced cars. He'd want me to weld bumpers that would push but not bend his frame. And one of the statements he made along the way is, it's amazing how much help you get until you win. Once you start winning, the help stops. We don't seem to have that problem here. But as you watch these markets get saturated, you see people pull back. You see things happen differently. So it's kind of neat.
I have something for your first thought, Frank. I was thinking, like you said it, watching videos and hearing people what their financial freedom and whatever financial independence number, right? The last video, I guess you mentioned for Dion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then other people saying it. To me, what seems crazy people trying to come up with the numbers that they need for retirement, when if they continue working for another 30 years, they're never going to make that money, right? So like if you never made it, why would you need it to retire? I guess it's a good goal to set, but I'm like, if you never made $10,000 in your life, and if you continue working in your job, you're never going to get close to it. Why is that your number? That's again, that's my thought, right? Like, because people, it's nice to set those big goals, but like, if you're making 6,000, bringing home $4,000, and your retirement number's 20,000, where did you get that number from? Because if you don't change nothing, you're never gonna get close to it, right? Because if you retire without savings, your Social Security is gonna be what, 60% of that? So, yeah, I've been thinking about it too. You're not the only one, Frank.
Like you said, a lot of reflection, right? I mean, when we get to this point in our lives and you think about stuff and you have a totally different point of view these days than you ever did when you were younger and things like that. So I think I've shared with you guys before how depressing it is when Dion has his talk about 19, like you're going to have 19 more Christmases, or you're going to have 19 more years with your kids. And when he puts it that way, it's pretty depressing. So I had to stop listening to that part of what he says, because if you consider, where I'm at today, being 61 and our life expectancy is 78, then I was telling myself, okay, you got 18 more years, you got 18 more Christmases, how are you going to make it the best you can make it? So I have to think about day by day. And I think that gives me, in my head, it gives me a lot longer to go than 19 Christmases.
Yeah, I'm saying at least 100, Frank. At least 100. Remember,
it gives you a barometer to start pacing yourself with reality. Am I doing what I want with my time when I want to? That's when my dad died and I figured out the numbers. I was like, oh my. But then all of a sudden I realized that if I live frugal, even without Social Security, I'm never going to run out of money. So, and then I heard Randy Newman, I think is his last name, a TV guide type of hunting show, self-guided stuff. First time I heard it, said, you're going to run out of health before you run out of money. Go do the things you want to do.
Yeah. So remember last month I wasn't being able to make it, and I said it this time when I go away, I'm gonna try to. So for all of you guys, if you really care about something, you'll make it happen, right? It's 5:34 for me. Right? Made it. So I flew in yesterday, and I'm set an alarm. I made sure every meeting that I was attending for last few weeks, even on my way, I'm gonna make it no matter what. So I might seem a little sleepy, but that's okay. Make life happen, guys, right?
There you go. Where are you at?
I'm in Poland right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But like the reflections that we're talking about, right? And again, talking to you guys, it opens the eyes up, really, right? Because it's doing and having your own circle around you, like we talked about in past couple last meetings. The people that you hang out with, you're gonna peak it at some point, and most people they're never gonna understand you. What's your goals? Why you see it, the world you see it, right? The struggles that you went as investors, as a contractor, or whatever, as a business owner, right? No, unless you have somebody else, which we have in this group, people are gonna say, "Well, I understand that." If you don't have money to run payroll, you don't understand it, right? Like if you never went through it, and for some of you will understand it, some don't, right? But everybody's here in real estate. When you had tenant not pay, but your mortgage is due, right? It puts a life in different perspective. So
Bring up payroll, huh?
Huh?
You had to bring up payroll.
Yeah, payroll, not the for people that own businesses, right? Because we
No,
all know it.
I have to finish payroll tonight.
Yeah, no. But it's yeah, you see your life differently, and then you start making different choices, right?
Yep.
So like you said it, Charles, you sit down and you start looking at the numbers. That number is not that big to live a life that you want to live. That's why I've been keep saying to all of you guys, right? Don't wait till next year or next week, next month to do what you want to do it. Do it, right? Because nobody's gonna dare say it. Oh, that was the right choice or the bad choice, right? The choices in life are ours anyway, right? And you got to live with them. Nobody else does it. So
Yeah,
I,
and
I
it's
remember one of my guys, and this has been well over 20 years ago. And yeah, he was a newborn basically at home with mom at home. And his income came entirely from the job he had with me. And I definitely remember, and I didn't have kids at that point. I definitely remember feeling the weight of making sure that I did the right thing. So I remember taking money from my check because I was working as a diesel mechanic and still working nights and then contracting during the day, taking my personal check from work to make sure payroll was paid to make things happen.
yeah, that's a big responsibility too, because and hopefully our employees appreciate that. I don't think they
don't know.
Yeah, they don't realize
nah.
what we do for them. In my case, with my cousin, that was a lot of pressure. He always got paid, right? I always make sure he got paid because he was living even more paycheck to paycheck than we were. And, he has a wife and a daughter and stuff like that. And I think he had gone off on his own a couple of times. He got a couple of jobs on his own. He really didn't like dealing with the customer. He didn't like the responsibility. He liked just coming to work and me kind of directing him on what to do. Or basically now he knows everything that we need to do. So we just get on it and do it together. And, but I always hoped that when he did go off on his own, he would realize all the things that we worry about, having the materials there, getting the right stuff, making sure he has stuff to keep him busy all day, making sure we have enough work for him to get 8 hours a day for the week, different things like that. I think he's finally getting it, but like I said, it's taken us 25 years to get him to that point. Well, Cynthia and my sister both made the comment because I was always worried about him if and when we get to Washington, but they reminded me that over these 20 plus years that I have prepared him to be able to go out and make a living for himself. He just has to get beyond that, the fear of talking to clients or whatever.
You guys were talking about invoicing earlier. I remember at the diesel shops, we used to put 6% on every invoice for shop supplies, from rags to soap to just the incidentals we would go through. So it's one way to try to recapture some of the consumables.
Yeah, so I don't know if I shared it. I have a friend in Florida, owns a big company. I think right now he has 12 locations, right? All shower doors. That's all they do. They don't touch nothing else, just frameless and framed shower doors. He hired a guy, older gentleman, at $65,000 a year to take care of inventory, right? Screws, silicone, paper towels, glass cleaner, stuff like that. He's still saving over 6 figures.
Yep.
That guy. Which it crazy to me, but he showed me the number he shared, and I was like, it's crazy. But it's again what you were saying, Frank. We hope they understand how much the employer goes through. It's not their job. That's why they're employees, right? That's the difference. Because if they did, they'll be your boss, not other way around it. And I had it because I looked at it. Imagine if you have 10 employees and each of them takes one paper towel a day, right? One tube of silicone. How much of that money is at the end of the year? Right? That adds up really fast. And again, I try to see it the same way as you see it, Frank, probably, right? That you try to help them and hopefully they appreciate it, all that stuff, and they will say it, but they don't. That's the reason why certain people are certain points in their lives, right? And certain people they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to be in management, right? They just want to clock in 8 hours and out, and that's somebody else's problem. So
Yeah, it is a pretty nice feeling. Like when I go help another friend contractor do anything, and I just have to show up and do what I do and not have to talk to anybody and deal with any clients or anything like that. That's really relaxing for me.
Yeah, one of the guys that works for me, I pay him $90,000 a year, and he just shows up to work. He's a general, has all of his insurance and everything else, but he doesn't have to market. He doesn't have to do anything. He just shows up. Oh, I kind of want that gig.
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
Well, yeah, because one of my thoughts is I take my employees from my remodeling business and I turn them into just my house rehab guys, and then I go out and do my just handyman type work, or inspection type things and stuff like that. It's just small projects. I'll make more money doing that than I will having employees. For sure, because I can set them up these properties, fixing that stuff up. I go in and check on them and do certain things because I can't write off my own time. That was one of my biggest thoughts, is doing it that way.
Yeah.
So one of the things we haven't talked about a whole lot, but we've kind of danced around it, is running your business and not letting your business run you.
Well, we've talked about it.
Yeah. But it's in the details, the exact details of just how tasking it can be. And Jasek, your buddy in Florida, can you imagine letting that mess get out of control?
yeah, he'd be out of business. That's why he said it. But again, most people never gonna admit to it how bad certain times of the year gets in your business, right?
Yes.
Nobody's gonna say it. I've been plenty of times that I took projects that if I didn't have money on the other side, business would not be capable of carrying it, right?
Yeah.
But it's again, everybody wants to share the wins, not the losses, right? And like we mentioned before, you don't want to just hear the losses because then nobody's going to get into it, right? Because you only hear the horror stories. So where's the balance on that one? But like you got to try it, and yeah, we all know what we have to do, right? Like Raylan said it before. It's like, hey, I don't know, I'm comfortable. Yeah, I've been there, right? But it again, something that I learned from another group that I'm a part of it in contract and with the contractors, right? Did you ever see a business like, oh, questions to you? What are the two stages of the business? There's only two stages. Anyone?
The start and the close.
No. It's either growing or it's dying. There's no plateau, right? There's no I'm cruising. That doesn't exist. Might feel like it for a moment, right? For a day, week, month, depends on your business. But you're either growing or you're dying, right? And we all want a growing business. So I understand that part that you said it. I'm comfortable, but you also said it, right, to the whole group. I know, I actually know. We just don't want to admit to it and do the work. So we all know that, like you can Google like how to profitably run my business, right? ChatGPT can give you all the answers. Like you don't have to ask nobody anymore, right? But it's the doing the work, right? What Mike and everybody says, like, hey, do you wake up every morning and you run the box? I ask in the calls in the past, right? Are the people actually doing the 10, 15, 20 minutes every day? Or you do it every other day, right? Or you do it 3 days a week, right? Because I can tell you that the people that are killing it, I'm pretty sure they're doing it 7 days a week, right? Like Steve White, he was here earlier, right? He said he was getting analysis paralysis. And I know he's been probably doing the homework 2-3 times a day, 7 days a week for the last 3 months, right? And then you can feel it from him talking, but he's finally getting something, right? That's the difference. We all know it. But have to have buddies to give you a little nudge, little nudge. So Jim, remember, not next year, this year, all subs,
I
all
can't.
subs.
I can't do it. I won't be
Next
in
year.
business. I won't be in business. Not if I do per. There's no way. There will not. The prime example is $3,100 for demolition. It's going to be $100,000 bathroom. I won't get the work. And not only
So
that,
my
I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. I'm
Yeah,
trying
but
to find my way out. I'd rather go work for a contractor doing the plumbing and electrical at this point. Just answer to him. I show up, I do that stuff for 3 or 4 days, then I go do my property stuff for another 3 or 4 days. That's what I'm
because
looking for.
yeah, most like really successful from outside at least, and me talking to some of them, right? GCs, they take 10 to 15% on top of whatever else they sub it.
Right. But those jobs are starting to go away. Like I said, that job was $100,000. And that's the GC that did it. My part was way less than that because I do the plumbing and electrical. But it's getting to a point where a lot of people can't afford to do it. I don't know what the solve's going to be, but something's going to change.
But don't you think it's like if you do it that way, you're only gonna have to do 3 jobs instead of 6 jobs and make the same money?
Yeah, but how are you going to get said jobs?
I truly believe there's a market out there. What
Yeah, so
Raylan said
you're
before.
dealing with contractors typically. You're not dealing with homeowners most of the time.
No, me?
Yeah.
No,
Correct.
90% of my business is homeowners.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, but
surprising to
it's
me.
also limited scope.
Yes.
So
We're dealing
so
with plumbing, framing, plumbing, electrical, demo, everything else.
so copy that, Jim. Just like you're thinking.
Yeah.
If to get work to begin with, you do everything. To keep work at the end, you do something small.
No, exactly. That's what I'm thinking about doing is just switching to stuff that I can do and have my guys go up and do the properties. That's more than likely what's going to be happening. But that, like Jason said before, that word no is going to come out of your mouth very often.
It's
Yeah,
profitable.
but I tell you, you mark my words. Your wallet's gonna feel better. Your body's gonna feel better without all that extra stress.
Oh yeah,
right?
no, I've already
And then
I've already started saying no. The only I'm not really stressed right now, but the cash flow is definitely an issue with the 3 properties. That's definitely a problem. But I have some private money that I can get to finish that, and it will only be a problem for another 2 months. Once I can refinance those houses, it's all back to normal. And then
yeah, but
I don't take 3 houses at one time.
yeah, but if you eliminate, because I'm telling
Mark's
you, right?
laughing.
The bottom customers, eliminate the 20% of the trouble customers, right?
Oh
The
yeah.
20/80 rule.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I have it. So like the minimum charge, right? The customers that we serve, I tell you, the customers that we have in my business, I'll go kiss their asses all day long because I'm charging for it, right? And instead of like we used to run 4 jobs a day, most of the days each tech runs 1 job, sometimes 2. Right? And again, they're happier because they know they're gonna finish on time. There's no, unless like they want it, right? But there's no overtime. Like every day, it's like, oh, there's more work we gotta finish because we're never gonna catch up. We're always running behind, right? I already know weeks in advance what my cash flow is gonna be because I'm controlling it.
But one of
But
the
I know
things,
small jobs, yeah.
yeah, you have an advantage too. You have a set thing that you can do. Prime example today, we were trying to jackhammer out to expose the drain. Concrete was too hard, so now I have to get the bigger jackhammer. It's not something I keep on the truck all the time because we were just trying to daylight the drain. Well, it took them 3 hours just to get the half an inch down on it. It was just too hard. So
No,
that just killed half a day and changed my schedule for him for the next 3 days.
Jason,
yeah,
how do
but
you business?
but we used to do the same thing. Can you replace a handle on a casement window, right? I'm not doing that anymore.
Oh no, correct. Yeah, that's a handyman job.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like we have skills, we have parts, we have suppliers. I know too, but it's again, it's you in the business to make money. That's what the business is, right?
Yeah.
If you don't make money, you cannot serve the customer. That's it. Not helping yourself, not helping the employees, not helping anyone. Just saying.
How do you get your customers? How do you feed that business?
So we heavily advertise, right? Like I spend thousands of dollars. That's another thing. What I think a lot of people don't realize it, right? The world of word of mouth, customers, it's good, but again, it causes a lot of problems. So if you cannot create your own customers, I truly believe that you don't have a business, right? So online and I guess for West Coast, I guess Yelp works great or whatever other apps. For us in my area, Facebook and Google. Like Google is a big one, right? And then pay per click and whatever not. We do a lot of yard signs. I used to do a lot of local events, so I still sponsor, but I'm a silent sponsor now for most like area townships, like softball, soccer leagues, and all that stuff. I used to like sponsor with my company name on them and all that stuff, banners, but we don't do it. But yeah, mostly online. Like I know exactly how how much money to spend to how much money get back. Like I don't know. Rayon, you do the same thing online? Advertising?
For me, I do, but it depends like on the season. Some depending on the season, I won't spend as much money, right? But during the summer or during the winter, when I was doing more weddings, I would advertise just to get in prep for the next year. But on the real estate side, I will tell you, I'm a little different, right? With real estate agents and contractors and flippers, it's pretty continuous. Once you've established a relationship with a real estate agent or a flipper, they're pretty much going to use you. So my residual clientele is pretty consistent.
But that's on real estate.
Yep.
But that's but real estate's mostly relationship based, right? It's
Yep.
they're not searching for you. It's not like a hey, I figured out I want to renovate my bathroom or I want to have my wedding recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of real estate, you have to think about it like this, right? When you have an agent that is trying to sell a multi-million dollar home, they're not just going to grab some guy on Google that has zero reputation. They're just not going to do it, right? Because, homeowners like that are generally, they got Rolexes sitting on their counter. A lot of these agents who are working at that high level, they're asking for referrals in their office or their network because they need to make sure that the person that comes in is representing their business accurately. And that's why in-person relationship in my industry is definitely crucial. Am I still here? I don't know if I got cut out.
No,
You were good.
Yeah, I just think definitely on the contracting world, I'm not gonna assume to know anything there. You guys are a whole different breed.
But but you an investor.
Yep.
So when you need a contractor, what do? What's the first thing?
Yeah, for me, the great thing is I have such a huge network in the real estate. I'll generally open up my circle first, but I've also done a really good job of keeping track. When I'm shooting for a flipper and I see them have somebody working on the bathroom or they got a roofer, I'm generally taking down their cards and then I'm asking my flipper, what kind of work they do, how well are they doing? And I literally have an Excel sheet whenever I need somebody. It's like a whole Rolodex of roofers, a whole Rolodex of people who do flooring. And then I do the typical thing of getting quotes from all of them and then trying to figure out where that source came from and comparing what I think about it.
So how did the video go with your brother-in-law?
Oh yeah, he loved it. Like he you guys are, he's fairly new into his contracting. To be honest, he should be listening to your conversation right now because like it's the things that you guys are pointing out, he would definitely benefit from.
And he still wants to be in business after listening to all that?
Yeah, he definitely wants to reach out to you guys. Right now he's probably doing his bathroom because he still doesn't have a bathroom in his house because he's trying to turn it to Airbnb. So yeah, no, he's getting there.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, he could have jumped in and listened on Saturday with Mark, but we probably don't need to do that anymore because we've had such a good talk tonight.
Oh, no, he
Um,
should.
Yeah,
Jason,
but I think most of our questions on Saturday are going to be more actual property related. I would imagine.
well, he said ask anything. I hope it
Yeah, I
doesn't go
know.
off the rails. But Cynthia was asking Jacek, how big of a company do you have? How many employees?
Me?
So 7 at this time, but it varies from season to season. But like I said, Charles knows. Probably by the end of this year, I'm gonna start growing again.
Okay.
So
Can I ask
multiple
this?
locations. Uh-huh.
Because Jim had talked in our last little thing. There's what is it, big and staying big or staying small, Jim? Would you consider in his situation, is that considered big? Just so I can like reference it to my friend.
Well, you got to remember he does one thing.
Hmm.
He's only doing glass.
Oh, okay. He specializes. Got it.
Yes, correct.
But he's also strategic. He's got some tactics going on there.
Right, but the point is for big and small, that's relative to what you're doing.
Yeah, small's better usually.
Yes.
Yep.
I would say, you know what's more important? Lean and efficient.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, I
Which
think
is
I said
hard.
all this before. If I have more than 2 to 4 people on a job site, I'm not doing anything. I'm just managing flow. You don't have a choice. So I've had jobs where I've had 8 people that I'm directing, and I can't do a thing of my own stuff. I have to just direct who's doing what to make sure they're on track with what my schedule. And I'm spending hours the day before or the morning of getting that stuff ready.
And I also think when you're bigger, you have to take bigger projects. There's
Yes.
smaller margins on it, right? And there's a lot of hiding. So there's a lot of bad employees in the group that can
Yes.
hide away, right?
Yes. That's why
When you're smaller, there's no hiding.
No,
Right?
correct.
Like if you have a team of 2 or 3, there's no hiding because if
Nope.
you slacking, guess what? The other
Yeah.
2 guys gonna say something.
Yeah, you know right away. Yep. No, I've had that in the past.
Yeah.
I've found people sleeping and stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you stories that the people that have applying with a commercial experience, so like a higher rent a glacier that travel on big projects when you have the skyscrapers, casinos, hotels built all over the country. Believe it or not, so you guys are from West Coast. Most of those guys from West Coast come to East Coast to work on it, and all our guys from East Coast goes to West Coast, which I know it makes no sense why people would do that, but they bid cheaper even with travel, pay, hotels, right? How the companies bid, it's different, and majority of those guys don't know nothing, like zero. That's why they're looking for other jobs, right? Because
Right.
because they hide and they can be working on the job for 15, 20 years. And I'm like, you don't even know basic names for the tools, right? Like, how did you exist it? But again, if you're a big company and you probably know from like corporate world, right? How many people corporates actually need, right? Efficiency is what the productivity of average employee in the workforce in any industry is what, 30%, 33, maybe 35. So guess what? When the times get harder, the company wants to make more money, right? Employee can produce 3 times more that at least, not overworking themselves.
Right.
So yeah, big is not good. Small.
So can I ask you, Jason, like for you, like what's your overall goal, right? 7 employees, that's a good amount of employees, right? You're supporting all those salaries and whatnot. What is it that you want to do? Like, like sometimes when I listen to businesses, hey, don't try to grow your business 2 times bigger next year. Grow it 100 times bigger, grow it 10 times bigger, because you're gonna have to create systems that are much better than what you would do if you tried to double your business. You know what I'm saying?
So for me, I have a pretty clear goal. I ran different scenarios on it, and it comes down to employees per location and a dollar amount of revenue a year. The thing that I have to have 3 locations, that's when it's gonna make sense to hire somebody at like a 200K a year job to manage that, right? Because you can have a small manager, but then you still have to have somebody that answers that phone call when crap goes down, right? So I have a clear path for that, but it's easier said than done, man. But like I'm not trying because like you said it, I'm very comfortable right now. I've been comfortable. Um, but yeah, if you don't, again, you growing or you're dying, right? And for me to not die as a company, because it's again, if at 7 employees, 2 salespeople, 1 office person, I'm about to hire another office person, but I'm replacing a lot of office work with the AI. So I've been heavily investing in an AI. 1 employee quits, right? That's for Salesforce, that's 50% of my Salesforce. That's a hit. So you got to look at not only the number of employees, but what are the percentage of overall workforce, right? So like my goal is 3 locations, because then I'm gonna have 2 salespeople per location, right? And then they can probably sell anywhere between $3 and $4 million in revenue per year, right? So if you do the math on that, if I have 3 locations, six guys, if I lose one, it's a lot easier to replace it. I'm not gonna have to rush it, right? Because it's a smaller percentage impact on overall company versus if you have 2, it's 50%, right? So like that's the number games, right? But then, like I said it before, when you get too many, then they're slacking, right? So you don't have that efficiency, right? It's you're not lean. So every company, everybody's going to be so different, I would say. But I have I might share on one of the meetings in the future when I get to that point where my other stuff gets cleared out. But yeah, every like you have to have it on your own, and it's going to change. It never stays the same, right? Because things change, insurances changes, regulation changes, wages changes, cost of material changes. So it's always up and downs. But like the main goal is to minimize the effect of 1 employee quitting or getting fired, getting hurt on the overall of the business, right? So it doesn't affect everybody else.
Yeah, like I'll tell you, was my experience, right? I had a studio, I had everything built out. I had 2 employees, virtual assistants, everything, right? Thinking that was the overall goal. I thought that's what I wanted. And then I built it all up, got everything I wanted, and I realized it was actually causing more stress in my life. And I wanted to go lean. I wanted to get back to where it was me. I had virtual assistants, and I could live a life that was less stressful. And that's where I'm at now. I'm a believer, a lot like Frank and Jim. Keep it small, keep it tight, and then you can live the life that you want, but be very efficient. And for me, I'm in a fortunate position where, I have my real estate agents, I have my flippers, but I am also, I've been in business long enough that I can land government contracts, I can work with the military and I can get big budget projects, and then I can outsource those projects, to different countries that are pennies on the
But that's still
dollar,
headache.
Yeah,
That's still headache.
it's not as much headache as, it was
You all know
before.
it. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand it.
A
No,
little
but
bit
for me, sorry, Charles, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna give Ray a little crap. A little bit ago, he says he didn't know nothing about contracting. Sounds like he knows quite a bit.
Yeah. You trying to get contracts with the government. Yeah, you tend to
Oh, no.
you tend to learn a lot.
Yeah, I won't go there again. That sucked.
So
For me, sorry, Charles. So for me, like you said it, the latest coach that I've been working with, right? And I guess somebody somewhere on, I don't know whose videos they mentioned the bus on the seats or seats on the bus, right? Effect. So my thing is, and then my main goal is to spend as much time and as comfortably with my kids, right? In the near future. The thing is though, if you do it the way you do it, what will happen if you don't have no legs, no hands, right? So my coach explained it to me, like if something hits you, you have no hands, no legs. Can you live the life that you want to live? And most of us can't, right? So that's the problem of being small and control of everything, right? So if you don't go give up control, you have no control, right? And again, like I said, it changes, you know, I mean, life events and all that other stuff. But I that's what opened my eyes really, really big time, right? Because I was like, but what do you mean? Like I got everything set up and I can do it, step in, and they're like, all right, you lost your like, and I'm in the military, right? So like I know what it is. Like I have friends with no limbs. I'm like, yeah, crap, I didn't think about that, right? So it changed the whole perspective of how I look at it, the business, the life.
And I think that's why it's so cool to be an entrepreneur and invest in real estate, right? Because that is your, I guess, close to passive income as you can get, where you're not actively playing a role in the business, but you are able to get those residual cash flow that you need. So in case, like, let's say, you know, I break a leg or whatever, and I can't operate, my lifestyle doesn't change, right? And that's why, like, that's why for me it was better instead of doing the typical business owner thing, which is, hey, get a team big enough that it can essentially support and you don't have to be there, right? Because like I think I had heard somewhere before, if you can be gone from your business for like a month, that's when you know you actually have a business, right? Like when you can actually be away and it doesn't decrease the efficiency in your business, you don't lose money, everybody is operating, that's when you actually have a business, is what somebody had said. Obviously, there's tons of different types of businesses. I don't quite agree with that completely. But all I'm saying is I'm using real estate to kind of combat exactly what you just said, create the cash flow. So if something does happen, I have something to go back to and I'm not out in the streets, you know what I'm saying?
No, totally agree with that, man.
So what example did he give you how to proceed with no arms and no legs?
So systems, right? And to figure out exactly what systems do I need to follow to get to that point, right? Because it's the way so he explains, and then I guess he's very successful at what he does, right? So again, I'm not gonna challenge him or not, which I want to, right? Like I'm very I like to challenge people because I like to challenge myself. But the way he explained it's feelings to the side, which we all have feelings, right? You build a system with roles in place and you find people to fill those roles. You don't make the roles work around the people because it's never going to work, right? That's the difference between companies that grow and are companies, right? They're self-sustained organisms versus small businesses, which is okay. Like I mean, I've been small business owner for a long time, understand that, but I don't want to be, right? So it's going to be a cool path, I guess, to work to figure it out, right? Like and maybe
Don't
I
you
change it. I don't
don't
know.
don't
Maybe.
don't
Hmm.
you agree? Like I feel that's the hardest part in business is creating your SOPs, right? Because without those, like, and they're always constantly changing. You create a system and then you find out 2 to 3 years later that it's actually not as efficient, but then you get to going and perfecting it. And that is like, to me, now that I've had my business, I have my systems in place. I know how to communicate, things flow perfectly. And as you growing, you're having to create more systems, right? And that was the thing for me that was so difficult. I was just like, bro, I just want to be lazy. You know what I'm saying? I like, if I grow to like multiple studios and I'm over here franchising everything, I'm like thinking about my life and am I even gonna
Yeah.
enjoy that? You know what I'm saying? And then I thought to myself, I was like, or I could just invest in real estate, really keep it small, and then we can just manage like a small portfolio And I like that a lot better, you know, and I felt like I could get to living quicker. You know what I'm saying? I could get there. Like I'm 37 right now. Like my goal in my early 40s, I'm gonna be traveling, and then I'll do work casually. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm gonna get there. And I I felt like if I tried to do it in my business, and this is just my personal take on it, I felt like if I tried to do it in my business, it was gonna be a lot harder to find those people. And I always had a hard time finding good people. That was just me.
So I have a question to that, right? Do you think, because I understand like everybody thinks at the beginning when they started, I figured out the process. This is the step by step, right? Formula. And like you said it, as you grow, those steps change, right? Do you think or do you believe that it's not that the process we have to constantly change it, but the process changes because of the people that we can hire and the people change that process to a certain extent?
Yeah, like you know, for me, I just feel like when I was trying to grow with employees, I think I was the person in the way. So I'm just gonna be upfront with it. I think
Hmm.
it was me in the way because I had such high expectations because I consider myself an artist, okay? Because that's what photography and everything is. And when I have somebody come along with me, I expect you to perform and like be passionate as much as I am, right? So it was always very difficult because my expectations were too high. And I guess just to answer your question, I don't think I ever really got there, and that's why I do so much better with virtual assistants. Because if they piss me off, I just get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? Where if
No, no,
it's
I
but when it's somebody that is in person, I tend to want to share a lot of my knowledge with them, and then that oversharing kind of like creates conflict and then reduce like I have higher expectations yeah. I definitely
yeah,
one
but
of those
that's
person. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, but that's what I said before. It's the emotions, right? Like the coach that's telling me, leave the emotions outside, which is hard for us, right? Because
Yes.
it's emotions, it's what you got you started, right? Like what we talked before, what got you started, and then another thing, and you probably hear it everywhere online and on TikToks and Instagram or not, right? People say the people that take you from one to two are not the same people that take you from two to three. I 100% agree it because every time the biggest steps in growth in business and in personal life I had to leave the people behind. And not saying like, hey, I'm not going to talk to you or not stuff like that, right? It's just you have to you have to change. What you said, right? It's not them. They're going to do what they're going to do, right? You control what you control and you just move on. But it is most of the times because like what I showed before, right? That's my younger son on the bed. I went for 3 weeks last month in Europe with them. I bought a ticket from day to day. I flew back. I went to the office and I was like, my office people like, you in the way. We're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, crap. And it feels bad, man, right? Because you built something, like you said, trying to pay payroll, thinking about them, worry about them, right? And then they tell you like, you in our way. And I'm like, what? Excuse me? Like, I'm not needed anymore? Which the concept to the parents, I said, right? Like people that have kids that are older, right? You do everything for them, but what happens when they turn 18? See ya later. The reality, right? And it's hard. That's why I say it's the self-reflections and it's us always in a way. So as soon as we realize it, I think the life gets better. At least it got for me, right? I control what I control. Everything else just goes with the flow. But yeah.
Can I ask you this question? Because this is always
Mhm.
something that was difficult for me, right? Mm, when you had to change yourself, right? Like I knew, like I could just tell, like you know, I'm oversharing information. I'm giving them too much details. Hey, we're making, you know, $5,000 on this project. You're getting paid this. I was just an oversharer. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really care. But then they would feel a certain type of way. It's like, hey, why are you making this much and I'm making this much? And I'm just like, all right, that's a little awkward why you're getting into those conversations, right? But like these were the hiccups that I was almost creating all these problems for myself. You know what I mean? And I
Not
knew it.
almost, you did.
Yeah, yeah. And I knew it. Like I knew I was creating these problems, but then it was also who I was internally. Like that's who I am as a person. Like I wanted to share my knowledge. I wanted to, in corporate America, when I used to work in sales, right? That was like my thing before I got into entrepreneurship. I always hated that, there was never like transparency in numbers and all this. And I felt like if I wanted somebody to work for me, I'd want that. You know what I mean? And those issues were that's not how you run a business, right? There's a reason why Fortune 500 companies don't operate in that level. And then I asked myself, am I going to change who I am as a person to become this big business, right? And for me, I'm very emotional driven person. And I said to myself and I reflected, I don't want to be that person, right? It's the same reason I didn't want to work for corporate America. I didn't want to be this person that, was going to create this business, but then I had to act a certain way. So I said to myself, screw it. I'll just stay small and I'll invest in real estate. And then I can still be who I am and I can be authentic. And then I don't have to do this crazy self-development to become this person I don't even want to be 10 years later. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't know if it's the right decision, but I feel like it's the right decision for me.
Yeah, but it's what I said before. You're gonna have to live with that decision, right? No, I cannot tell you, nobody on this call can tell you what's right, what's wrong, right? You you will live with it. I think it's a right choice from my experiences, what you did, right? If you're emotional and you don't want to deal with it. But remember also, if you didn't do your own thing, you wouldn't be in real estate where you're at, right?
Yeah.
That's the like I think that the business for everybody that can work with their hands and can do something on the side, it's such a accelerated, right? Because it's if you're working for, I don't care if you're working for a contractor, for ice cream place, for Burger King, right? You on the fixed income, right? And you can be successful on it. From what Dion said, right? From Zuber said, everybody says it. Like there's formula. It just takes a long time. But how much faster you can get to it? Like you said it. I want to be in my 40s, right? You didn't start it 20 years ago, like those guys, right? Like so, how much faster you get to that point? That's what I'm just saying, right? So business is it's a tool, like anything else in our life. You use that as a tool. You realize that hey, it was nice when it was nice, but that's now I want to be as a person, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's not growth sucks. Put it that way, right? Like we know, like if you go work out, it sucks, right?
But
So,
you
Ray,
agree. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm sorry for walking on you. One of the things that us contractors have, and I'm going to say something that sounds screwed up. The cheaper I could hire somebody because they had no skills, the longer they would last and the more they would learn. So I had a system to bring people in with no knowledge. Jasek just mentioned having experienced people that he was very much so let down by, didn't even know the proper terminology for tools. You're experiencing that because you expect a photographer to be able to perform and have a certain sort of background. So I think there's some steps that us in the layman's world get to use and perfect, that when you're bringing somebody in that's not at the clay, the basic clay to mold, it gets more difficult. And big big businesses don't share with their employees the numbers. They share with their stockholders. It's who the message is for.
And this is where I think I will say like my wisdom just in life in general, like I felt like really helped me, right? Because like I think all of us do this, right? We all go through life and we're like, oh, look at that. This person's got this huge thing going on. I think that's what I want, right? And I finally feel like I'm at the point in my life where I know what the hell I want. You know what I mean? I just know what I
I
want.
gotta do this.
Yeah.
I
And
gotta
it's
do it,
so
man.
and
Not easy.
it's so difficult to just finally find yourself. You know what I mean? Where you're not trying to just like do this BS for other people or people who don't even really care about you. You're just doing it for yourself. And yeah, like I feel like I'm at peace with that, right? And does that mean I'm gonna be like driving Lambos and stuff? No. But like I said, like Frank said, do what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna spend 10K a month? Well, some months maybe if I'm on vacation, but like not every month. You know what I mean? So
No, but trust me, nobody's gonna care about your Lambo anyway.
yeah. Yeah,
That's it.
exactly. Exactly. Yep, so true.
Nope. Nobody does, man. I think we care about what other people, right? Like somebody said it in the past that we care what we think other people care about us, right? No, but remember, we all human nature is self-centered, right? At the end of the day, people forget, maybe. But
So
hey,
true.
I applaud you again. I applaud you for saying it out loud because it sucks. I know to figure out what you want to do, and life gets a lot better when you do. A lot better. Happy for you, man. Happy.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, it's a I know bumpy road, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Troy, did you see that message that Troy said it in the chat, guys?
I hate
Yeah.
being in a W-2 job because of the toxic people I'm surrounded by. They suck the life out of you. Oh yeah. They trust me. Yeah. I've
That's
been
true.
in
That's
that.
it.
What happened to me when I was there and I had to make a decision on the way to and from work, I pretty much chanted, I can, I will, I must succeed. It took less than a week for me to go, we're doing this. Now, I'm going to couple this with what Dion's daughter said. Decisions are tough when all outcomes are positive. It's difficult to decide which way you want to go. And the best advice I have is to make sure that when you get into that commitment, know you're going to stay with that commitment because half in and half out is horrible.
Yeah, and the life will test you. That's for
Oh,
sure.
for sure. For sure. You test yourself. We're stupid.
Unfortunately, Charles. Unfortunately.
We're just,
One day. One day. I've been hearing that saying from my dad used to always say, is right? You learn all your life and you die stupid. And I never understood it as a kid growing up. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like I'm like now I'm like look at it, I was like, yeah, totally. Because even so to that quote, right, that my dad said, even if you said, okay, I know it all, right? You're dead at that point. You might be living, but you're dead. Because there's always people smarter than you. There's always something to learn. So it's so true. But again, took me only 38 years of my life to learn it.
Yeah. Frank, I'm hoping you get a RV and we could be RV partners and we could get stranded in the middle of the road together. You know what I mean?
Did you break
Well, call
down?
me up. I'll help you. I'll help you guys out.
Ray, did you break down?
Oh, this was when I was going to Yellowstone with Dion.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Dion like is over here. He's smashing in his rental car that he took, right? And I'm trying to keep up over here with the little F-150 and pulling my RV. And I think I ended up blowing a one of the blow off valves or whatever for the turbo. And I didn't realize that's what the case was, but then I was stranded on the road. Dion pulls over, is like, well, we're still going to Yellowstone. If you can make it, I'll see you there, right? So I freaking get my sisters to go grab my other truck and we were able to still make it to Yellowstone. And, and then now I have an F-250 because of that situation because
Gotcha.
no, but all I'm saying is like that's the one thing I'm loving right now, Frank, is dude, for us entrepreneurs, it's hard to just be gone for 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to go out on a weekend, it's not that difficult. 3 to 4 days, if I can get, that's easy. And then I have dogs, so that makes it even harder. So for me, having an RV, man, it's been just such a blast. And when you're out there camping, bro, like it feels like days turn to eternity. You know what I mean? And doesn't cost much, a campsite's like $30 and you feel like you're doing something new every time. I love it.
Yeah, it is pretty special. We have had opportunities to go out and do that kind of stuff. Cynthia loves to fish. That's one of the things I would love to be able to do for her. I usually just pass out and fall asleep, but she has a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, look forward to it. One thing I was going to leave you guys with was maybe for our next conversation. I have a lot of friends that try to fit too much into their day, right? Contractors, real estate agents, grumpy contractors, but and they're always stressed and they're always late. That really bugs me. So sometimes, like when I have a project, I don't know, just say it's going to change a kitchen faucet, right? I won't, I'll just go do that for the day. And I don't try to do something else in the other 3 or 4 hours that I might have, because then something may trip you up and it takes longer than you think. And then you're late to your next appointment, stuff like that. But, and then the other thought was, Jasik, you were talking about having weekends off, which is great. And I think when we were hustling, we were working every day or whatever. You didn't really want to work Saturday, so you already started off in a bad mood. Why let that progress throughout the day and every little thing just seems to make it that much worse. So those are some things that I took away from what you guys were saying. And now I don't do that anymore. I'll try not to work on the weekends for sure. And try to do.
I'm the opposite. I'm thinking about Italy on the 17th. That's all I'm thinking about. I don't care about a damn weekend.
Are you
I'm
going to be on the
Italy.
17th?
17th.
Where are you going? Where are you going in
To
Italy?
Naples and Sicily.
Oh, so you're going to be south. I'm going to be north on the 19th.
Yeah. But that's all I think about. I'm working straight through. I haven't had a day off since we went to Maui. I think that was in March.
Yeah, if we were planning something like that, I think I would be okay. But like I said, I don't care to travel. There's no place I want to go
Oh, I
see.
love traveling. Absolutely love it.
I don't.
Troy, awesome pictures, man.
Oh, I plan on scuba diving in on the Roman ruins. I'll put that on YouTube for sure, or at least Facebook.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And I want to do a couple walks around some really old properties in Sicily and in Naples. That'd just be kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I also tell people. So what I realized a long time ago, and my wife used to make fun of me and my neighbors. I used to sit out in my backyard sometimes because talking about working, my grind stage so I want to say 10 first years, I worked 7 days a week, 2 jobs, even when I was on active duty military, right? I tell people I got to the point where sitting on my backyard, I said I'm on vacation, right? Having a moment for yourself and not to worry about anything. So like if you can get to that point, life is good, right? Because anywhere else you're gonna go, it's so much more amazing, right? Because I think a lot of people we think about, hey, what's our next trip? Where's our next vacation? Why wait till then? Why not enjoy today? And I think talking about what you said early on, I was never emotional guy, right? I'm a part of special operations in the military. I still do part-time. And I think I was so brainwashed into it. No, and I get it. My job requires me not to have emotion, right? It's nice to be in touch with it. Reality, right? Of life, because life goes like this. It's tomorrow's not given. I lost so many friends. in recent months, right? So it's like what to work for, right? Safety, and I get it. We have to invest. You got to put money away, invest in 401k. But for who to enjoy it? For others or for you? Because remember, the kid's not going to think about the money, right? It's nice if you leave him something, right? But they're going to remember the memories, right? You have memories of stuff when you were younger or times from college, right? From jobs that sucked, camping, all that stuff. So all we have in life, it's memories, nothing else. And you don't need money to make memories. Last time I checked.
Yeah. You
So
know, Frank, I have a friend like you. His name is Steven. You know, he would never like to travel. He would never leave his state if he had a choice. You know what I'm saying? And I always wondered why. And I asked him, he's like, dude, everything's here. And the cool thing about Steven is he's such a people person. Everybody likes him, right? What Steven's very rich with is his community. Anybody that gets to know Steven, um, he's just a fun person to be around, right? And what I like doing is the reason I like to travel is not just to go check out these awesome sceneries, but I am, since like I am very emotionally driven, I feel very rich with meeting people. Like I feel like, oh my God, like I want to meet somebody in Japan, I want to meet somebody in China, Thailand, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to meet tons of different personalities, but real people that I enjoy being around, right? Not the BS surface level crap. I want to have like real conversations that are just like a blast, like
Mhm.
this group, right? Like I feel like every time I'm in this group, I feel like hours pass by and I don't even realize it. So I
they do.
can yeah. And that's why like I'm just saying with Frank, I can also relate, you know, like if you have the community and you have those bonds in your area, why do you need to travel? Every day is a vacation, right? So I get it.
Yeah, and so, not to, I guess, not to put a negative spin on it, but I realize just driving around, going to work and stuff, everybody's in a rush. Everybody's got wherever they're going is more important than where you need to be. Just that kind of stuff. I think, I guess, half jokingly, I'm safer if I don't go out there and have to deal with those kind of people. You know, I've teased you guys about when I almost went to prison, and that was part of it. So we'll look into that one of these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
He
better
always
jump.
leaves those hangers at the end.
I
I'm back
better
next
jump off.
week.
Draws back for more.
Yeah, come back next week.
I remember when they had that shows on TVs where you couldn't rewind it or bench watch, and you
Yeah.
had to wait for the next week.
Yeah.
That's Frank.
I'm that old.
No, I'm not saying the age. The suspense, Frank. The suspense.
Yeah. Well, somebody mentioned Festus earlier and Gunsmoke. I didn't know most of y'all didn't. I didn't think y'all knew what Gunsmoke was.
Never watched it. Knew what it was, but never watched it.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
You'll have to go Google it and see who
Okay.
Festus was.
Okay, I'll Google it.
Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Hopefully we'll
Nice
see you
meeting
guys Saturday on Marks.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that the
Bye.
contractor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Good night,
Everyone,
everybody.
Bye now.
Thatch is on tomorrow morning.
Nice. All righty.